welcome to what I believe is going to be the most electric episode in a while, folks. This is the episode, the post-WrestleMania 41 episode, the post-Raw After Mania episode, the post-Stand Deliver episode. It's a huge one. Welcome back to, on the contrary, welcome back to Stache Club Wrestling. My name is John.
My name is Jimmy.
Folks, you are on the right channel. I know due to the lack of facial hair, you might be confused. You are on the right channel. As most of you know, if you're watching the podcast, most of you should be caught up. And obviously with who is holding the SCW Championship right now. So if you missed this weekend, you got a lot to catch up on. But to catch you up real quick, Jimmy did win, beating me and Sophie, did win the SCW Predictions, winning no longer just the SCW Predictions Championship. That is just the SCW Championship. So congratulations, Jimmy. I think you ended up beating me. I think when it was all said and done, I think you were like 3 over me.
Two or three
something
over like me. That.
Really electric night. So with that said, I also want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in to the stream. Whether you tuned in for one night, for both nights, you popped in for a little bit, you were there for all 10 consecutive hours of both streams. We really appreciate it. They're both very successful, and we definitely plan on doing more in the future. And then, due to Jimmy's win, we had a bet. Stache versus Stache. Facial hair versus facial hair. Loser shaves. Obviously, one's holding the title, one is mustacheless. So we're a little, I'll get the mic out of the way. We're a little clean shaven. You know, we got the stubble growing in. It feels weird. I'll be honest. Definitely feels weird. It's a little cooler. You know, I got a little bit of a breeze up here. My one complaint with it, it's fine. I don't dislike the way it looks. I'm not used to it. My one complaint though is I feel like I have the look and the clothing, and I dress the way of some guy with facial hair and or a mustache. So I'm wearing the same clothes, and I feel like I look silly. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's just that's me looking in the mirror and being like, that looks off still. But it's been a weird couple of days. But yeah, overall, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on just this weekend and the live streams and and becoming for your first time, the SCW champion? I want to hear from you.
They say you never forget your first time. And what a weekend it was. It was my first weekend ever doing a live stream too. My first ever SCW title win. And let me tell you, it's going to be my last ever win too, because this title ain't never going nowhere.
You're the last real SCW champion.
It's the last champion. And I stand by that. Dude, this was so much fun this weekend.
I had a ball.
But tell you what, today though, I have never felt anxiety towards a planned podcast, because how much we have to talk about. Dear Lord, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But gosh
same.
darn, am I damn, I hope we don't forget that, because so much happened, because you had WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, and then apparently WrestleMania Night 3.
Right.
Wow, what a weekend it was. And yeah, I'm just proud to be the Stache, or actually I'm gonna say this right now, the club wrestling champion.
Right.
Because I mean, that mustache is gone.
We'll get back to it soon.
Yeah.
Give me a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. We'll get back to it. So again, thank you everyone for a very successful weekend. Today is officially, and I say this in a good way. This term is a positive term, but it's the last day of Hell Week.
Yeah,
because it has been stop and go. I would say genuinely last Monday to today, filming, editing, posting every day between my own channel and the Stache Club channel, streaming on my stuff and the Stache Club, channels. But like I said, it's Hell Week in a good way. I wouldn't want it any other way. And I'll tell you this, Jimmy, that SCW Championship contractually will be defended again, and I'd say crazy enough, 3 weeks, May 10th, for WWE Backlash in St. Louis, Missouri, which we'll get into implications of why it being in St. Louis is so special. But yeah, I'm excited for you to put it online again. I'm coming for it. I'm
gonna be a fighting champion.
I believe it.
But the thing about it is, I fight dirty. So just to let you know. Just to let you know.
I believe it. I'm nervous. All right. Without, a little bit further dilly-dallying, some plugs. We have Patreon, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling. If you want to hear a bonus wrestling Q&A podcast where people submit their questions, me and Jimmy talk about it, and we talk about random stuff too. We also have merchandise in the description. We'd appreciate if you wanted to pick something up. And speaking of picking something up, we have a Fanatics link with WWE. It's an affiliate link, so if you use that link, we get a little bit of a kickback. It helps out the show. I think those are all the plugs. Jimmy, let's dive into it. Like you said, I also had some nerves and anxiety coming in because I just know there's so much to talk about. And like you said, I didn't want to forget anything. But we're starting off with the main event of the whole weekend. We're not going chronological here. John Cena defeated Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship. Folks, John Cena won his number 17. And obviously, if you watched the live stream, you saw our live reactions. To kick it off, I'll say, because I know you also have a lot to say about this.
Oh, yeah.
To kick it off, to get the broad stroke of things, I like the decision. I like Cena winning it. I like him winning it heel. I know we might disagree on that, but I like him winning it heel. I like closing out 41 with him heel. I even like the match more than most people. But I think where we're on the same page, not to speak for you, is I didn't like the Travis Scott involvement. It was like the third or fourth low blow to determine a finish of the weekend. Stax low blowed Tony D'Angelo on Stand and Deliver. We got Paul Heyman double low blowing, Punk and Roman. Then we have, it's just like, okay. And obviously, elephant in the room, zero Rock, which I think we'll touch on. We'll save no Rock for a little bit. I think we'll kind of talk about the ending and whatever for before that. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Like I said, I like most of it except for that ending. Where are you?
So I've had some time to mull over. I had a pretty restful sleep. Kind of slept in this morning by accident, but yeah. So I highly suggest to go back to our live reactions on our YouTube channel and go see my reaction, which I was paused for 3 minutes. I couldn't believe I was floored. And yeah, I hated the finish. I did more, but most of what you said because of Travis Scott, because of the low blow. I probably watched 100 episodes of OSW review. Shout out to those guys. They make a thing called "Damn It, D'Lo" whenever like there's too many of the same booking decisions.
Sure.
Because D'Lo Brown booked TNA, and there was a problem in TNA where you kept booking the same thing happening for each match, and like you said, the low blows was too much. It was
low
too
blow
much.
mania. Yep.
With that being said, I have slept on it, and I'll say this: I am someone that loves getting lost into wrestling.
Sure.
And there was something earlier in this pretty, controversial media week for the WWE where one part where Triple H said, like, I wish so many people would, stop with the whole armchair booker and just kind of live in the moment and like watch the wrestling for
Be a fan
again, right? And he got a lot of backlash for that, but I kind of took it as like, I kind of agree, because when you are just a fan and you react to things, it's pure. And let me tell you, I hate this. I hate John Cena now. And that's what I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people, they're so angry, they're so up in arms. And it was jarring for a few days to seeing all the negative reaction towards the main event, because night 2 was great overall, but then you kind of had that, sour taste in your mouth at the end of the main event, given no Dwayne and stuff like that. But just the concrete of John Cena making history as a heel, which, I didn't agree with, but overall, I left WrestleMania with a lot of emotion.
Yep.
And from that match, from that decision, my guy Cody Rhodes lost, which I'll say this, Cody Rhodes, I definitely agree with some of the sentiment that like you kind of undid a lot of what the impeccable story that was Cody Rhodes winning last year in his title run with this, just because of the Travis Scott involvement and the way it happened, the no Dwayne. But I'll say this. They're making me hate John Cena. As a guy who loves John Cena, and now he's an actual heel. And what is a heel?
I wish you were in the crowd last night. The Vegas crowd seemed to love him.
Oh yeah, and that's what bothers me too. And the Cody boos during the match bothered me a lot too.
Real quick, I just want, because you were saying something about the Triple H thing before we get too far past it. I think oftentimes people, and us included, I don't want to speak for you, but I think it's fair, us included, get lost or confused in what is my reaction to the scripted television show I'm watching versus what's my reaction to the critical analysis of the business decision.
Sure.
And as two people that have a wrestling podcast, we are oftentimes discussing writing decisions and script decisions and decisions made on the TV show as opposed to how the TV show actually played out. So I think And I think this is a good and bad thing where I think your and our reaction of like, you know, John Cena losing and you were pissed or whatever, that was your reaction to the TV show, what was going on. You know, it's like if you were watching a episode of Friends or whatever and Ross got shot in the head, you know, it's like that would be your pure reaction. David Swimmer didn't actually get shot in the head or whatever. That's his name, right? David Swimmer? Nailed it. I'm not really a Friends guy, but
Seinfeld.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, I think a lot of like people's initial reaction or critique online, like, sure, I'm still not defending that ending with Travis Scott whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I think like, yes, the bad guy won, and he did. I will give a little credit, and I'm still not excusing it, but I'm giving a little credit to the ending where John Cena did say, "I don't need to wrestle to beat you," or "I'm not going to wrestle to beat you."
Yes.
He brought in Travis Scott. It made people pissed. He low-blowed Cody basically to win. He did what he said to do. He won 17 in a pretty shitty way, which granted, I don't think my other side of the coin where it's like, I get it. That's my I get it. What I don't still like, I still don't think that excuses or makes it suitable for an ending of a WrestleMania. If that closed out like a Backlash, then like, sure, great. I just don't think it was a satisfying ending to Mania, while I do get it and understand it.
I think it would have been totally different if Big Dwayne did show up. And was it with
1,000%? All right, that's yeah. Like, obviously, we don't like the Travis Scott stuff and like, you know, whatever.
Because
but The Rock doesn't make any. Why wasn't he there?
Yeah. Because now you're putting all this stock into Travis Scott, who is a 120-pound rapper, who, given like he is a pretty big star, but like
had a pretty good leap in the ring. I like that leap.
That was pretty cool. We kind of did react to that pretty. Like, oh wow! But why is he being the wild card in the main event for the biggest title in the industry? John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Why is Travis Scott being the main, you know, pretty much the main reason why John Cena did win, you know? But I am taking it now, being a few days removed, like, it was supposed to make me mad. It did make me mad. And, you know, not to get ahead of ourselves with what happened on Raw, but it made what happened on Raw with John Cena that much more sweeter.
Sure.
And got me more amped and what a start to that Raw. But
like I said, I just wish it maybe wasn't the ending of the WrestleMania 41.
Yeah. Because compared to how night one ended, we couldn't sleep afterwards, you know, the excitement. But this one, this time it was, man, a pretty bitter taste. But again, I do agree with you. I think the match was pretty solid for what it was. It felt like a big fight feel. The entrances were, I love how John Cena really gave us nothing. The black screen and then the Cody Rhodes, the
with the Iron Man mask.
That was sick. That was sick. And he looked like $1 million. And then the
dirt bikes going across. Oh my god.
X Games mode, if you will. Oh, but it's. I enjoyed it at the match, and it definitely was a historic moment. One thing I watched the Hall of Fame the morning of Sunday, and one thing I took away from it was when Punk was inducting Hart versus Austin, and he says oftentimes wrestling fans will speak in hyperbole and say, "Oh, this was the greatest thing ever," or "This was the worst thing ever." My initial reaction was, "This was the worst ending to a WrestleMania ever." It definitely wasn't.
No,
there's been plenty of others, you know, not so great endings, worse endings. But tell you what, this was very memorable. It got, with their goal was to make me a fan of Cody Rhodes in this program, to be angry. It was 100% successful. So hats off in that aspect, but. Where is Papa Dwayne?
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest talking point for sure. Is like, or the biggest, you know, contention is like, he involved himself so much, and again, and here's where, like, you know, this is what I don't like when stuff like this happens and everyone gets on Twitter all of a sudden and then they're like, "Oh, did you know that this actually happened? Oh, Dwayne did." Like there was stuff going around that was like, "Oh, actually, the heel turn was actually a last minute thing. Oh, the heel turn was actually John Cena's idea. He didn't want to do it, or Cody didn't want to do it." What are you, in the writers' room?
Exactly.
You can't just say things.
Speculation and all that stuff.
It's people speculating and giving reasons, like behind the scenes reasons that are just pure speculation, and they're like, "Oh, well, Cody wanted that." It's like, why, who cares? First of all, who cares? Second of all, stop saying things that aren't true.
Yeah.
Sure, there's reports here and there, and those give more credibility to things like that. Sure, whatever. But anyway, I to go back to the Rock stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand him involving himself so much, coming out at what was it, Survivor Series and all of that.
Bad Blood.
Yep, Bad Blood to really kick this all off. Even just doing the whole angle of Cena selling his soul to The Rock. He got mentioned, genuinely, I think between, what was there, like maybe 4 or 5 like Rock Cena segments, whether it was someone alone or not, to hype up this match for the prior weeks. The Rock, I think, got mentioned once, maybe twice, but I'm pretty sure once.
And he got mentioned too by Punk, who wasn't even involved with that rivalry.
I believe Cena name dropped him. True.
That promo.
I believe Cena did name drop him, but like no reason to like Cena selling his soul. I don't get it. I don't get how you're The Rock and you're on TKO and you seemingly want to be involved and then you don't, and then like he obviously has the power to do whatever he wants, which is proving to not really be a good thing in terms of showing up and whatever.
Yeah.
And people are criticizing now, where it stings, because his final boss character leading up to 40 was genuinely some of the best work he's done of his whole career.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then now to get this and how less involved and less seemingly, I want to emphasize seemingly, enthusiastic he is, it's disappointing. It's confusing. It doesn't make any sense. And so people are criticizing, and it stinks to see, of like, hey, maybe fuck off. Maybe don't get yourself involved, to put it blatantly. Maybe don't involve yourself if you're not gonna follow through. And,
totally
agree.
Agree.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it's disappointing. It stinks. It would have added so much. I'm not even just talking about the main event in general. It's the story as a whole. If The Rock got involved. Or if he just wasn't involved from the jump, then that would have been fine too. I'm not saying we needed him, but if you're gonna be there, do it.
So I think that too overlaps with what happened last year, where a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, like they wanted Rock versus Roman, but then the Cody crybabies willed a creative change, and the Rock forced The Rock's hand, or forced TKO and Triple H's hand on what the actual matches were for that card. I think too, a lot of people right now are so excited about the WWE because they were on fire post WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40, and they start fantasy book this WrestleMania, and they overlapping with Dwayne's non-involvement and not showing up for key parts of this storyline make you go, oh, so ultimately he's the one that probably decided for these storylines, robbing us of potential matchups that people fantasy booked to the WrestleMania card. We could have got Cena versus Gunther, which I thought would be great. And then you could have had just Punk versus Cody, which I thought would be definitely a suitable night 2 main event. And how potentially The Rock changed a lot of these potential matches based off of him wanting a heel turn at Chamber, because now he knows he's going to be involved on that date. So stuff like that, where it's like people kind of just are seeing the whole picture with when it comes to The Rock and Dwayne and the involvement. But I totally agree with you. If you're not going to be at WrestleMania, the show shows the peak of this storyline rivalry, with Cena winning 17 and becoming your champion. I just don't understand it, and it's so infuriating on so many levels.
And then it doesn't help where everyone was expecting The Rock to come out, and it does not help Travis Scott to come out to Fiend. Everyone's like, sure, again, I don't think whether The Rock was there or not, we wouldn't have loved Travis Scott there, but just getting Travis Scott, no Rock, even makes this crazier and up for more criticism and weaker as a whole thing.
I hate that song now so much.
and then they just kept playing it on Raw last night, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So I don't know. Like I said, to kind of reiterate, I like everything. I like the outcome. I like seeing the heel winning it. But yeah, my biggest thing is just no Rock is pretty inexcusable. And the Travis Scott shit was just real fucking dumb. But some things I get, some things I don't. What I do like, though, and it's kind of bleeding into Raw, is it's the reason why I liked the decision and liked ultimately Cena standing tall as a heel, whatever. And we played into it on Raw when Cena was on Raw, and he was like, these are the dates I have left. And I thought that was the dates. He put up, whatever, 35 or whatever.
Yeah.
He put up that number, and I was like, oh, that's what we have left. And he was like, no. That was when I signed the contract. we already have, I don't know what, 6, 7, 8, whatever. So he minus off the top of his head too, rambled off the
getting the
cities.
Too,
yep. So we have, what is it, 20? I guess 27.
Yes,
27 dates, 27 first dates. But I love that now because we see it with what happened. Now, for the whole year, for all those 27 dates, Cena's going to come out holding that title hostage. Every single person that goes up against him until December is now fighting to save wrestling. He doubled down his promo last night, which I really thought was a strong victory lap promo where he was like, he emphasized and put a stamp on it and cleared up, made it more clear than ever. I got this. I'm ruining wrestling. You guys, I even bring it up like you guys are cheering me now. When I say Cody's name, you are booing him. Really kind of giving back to the crowd of like, see, I don't want to use the term fickle, but like, whatever. So now every single person we get is going to be trying to save wrestling. And the first person we get coming up from behind him, we jumped in a time machine. It's 2009 again, folks. Randy Orton turns him around, or Cena turns around, hits him with an RKO. Cena yells out, "Oh shit!" RKO to Cena to kick off Raw, which makes sense now. I found this out last night, and I said at the top of the show, Backlash in St. Louis, Missouri. Randy Orton is on the poster. We are getting, seemingly, it's not official, but I think we can speculate, Randy Orton versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at Backlash in about 3 weeks. I love it. Randy Orton is the perfect person, whether they're in St. Louis or not. He's the perfect first opponent to try to get that belt back, and a perfect, I believe, first defense, not to give predictions early, for Cena. So where are you feeling kind of now that we got the Raw out of the way and we got that segment, now how are you feeling about the Cena win, Cena Orton and all that?
So I enter Monday Night Raw with still that sour taste in my mouth, but luckily I have a nice big nostalgia milkshake to wash it down after that great Cena promo. 27 dates, not matches, dates.
Yep,
which I thought was like, oh yeah, we know, John, you won't be getting in the ring unless it's a PLE most likely. But yeah, this was great. Cena's I'm pretty sure the crowd, which I hate when the crowd gets like all simpy for the heels and they love to be told to shut up, whatever. I'm pretty sure they were chanting "We are sorry." Kind of like,
that's what I thought, and then I think Cena took it and said, just if you didn't hear that, they said "We aren't sorry."
Yeah, no, they were saying
I heard "We are sorry."
They were saying, I think
that
was John like flipping like the result he wanted right there, or maybe even just kind of making the crowd even more upset because eventually they were on his side, but then he did a great job being the effective heel, making them turn, and I love too the points of him saying like, "Oh, you heartless bastards!" And what actually happened on this past Friday Night SmackDown, where it was they were giving Cody some booze, whatever, and Cody won them over in seconds. It was beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, it was impressive.
This is why he's my champion. But then John pointed out, he goes, "It's so funny how wish-washy you are, just based on a few words or phrases. You those internet fans who all come from across the globe for the Mania and Raw after Mania." But so it was something else, but then we get Randall Keith Orton fresh off the tails of his big victory at Mania. Just give me nostalgia, give me Orton for Cena. It's gonna be a beautiful match, and in his hometown in St. Louis, which will make him like a god amongst men, babyface wise. And just it's so funny rewinding 10 years ago and saying like, oh, another Randy Orton John Cena title match, and then we're
all foaming at the mouth for it
now. We're foaming, but back then we'd be groaning. But now it's been so long, and now it's so fresh too, where you have a good guy Randy versus shit heel John Cena. So it's gonna be something.
The heel he's gonna get when he pins or kicks him in the balls, we'll see, or Travis Scott comes out again. Either way, beats Randy Orton in his hometown. Ooh, the boos. I saw someone in the chat, I think, say the WWE is preparing us for the dark days. We have John Cena as a heel champion. We got the New Day as champions. We have a couple of heels running things. So I'm excited to really just dive in and I want to hit rock bottom, and then Cody's going to come in like the hero he is and save us by December.
I seen a meme. Someone put the Sting paint on Cody.
Funny.
Cody's going to be up in the rafters, because I think now too, with Randy challenging Cena at Backlash seemingly for the next in a month or so. I think that's next month.
Backlash May 10th.
Yeah, so I'm assuming Cody's not going to be on TV.
I would hope not. Yeah, I would hope not. Yeah. I want him to be off for a while, and then you can't miss someone if we always see him.
Yeah, deserves a break too.
Honestly, he really does. Yeah, for sure. All right, before we're gonna move on to the rest of Mania, but kind of forgot to ask this. How would you feel about Mania as a whole? Both nights combined. Where are you at?
Overall, I would say it was a pretty solid damn WrestleMania.
Me too.
Just like Stone Cold's Cats, it was a solid ass Mania.
It also helps like whenever I talk about this too, is I also keep in mind like one, we were having a ball on the stream, and also had some beers in me by the end of it. So maybe I'm a little biased.
Yes,
but I had a good time. I had a great time.
I completely share the sentiment of being biased. I was watching it with a good friend and beers and a live stream so all very new to me, and it rocked hard. I even tried to because actually after Raw last night I rewatched Raw going to bed because it was that good. But then I was when I got home yesterday, I put on WrestleMania Night 1 to kind of check out because I'm like, let me try to see some matches again. I wanted to take notes, but I was kind of all wrestled out. But it's funny because it being 2 nights, and you kind of go to the night 1 was maybe until the main event, and then you go night 2, which was a roller coaster, and then kind of at the main event. It's like, imagine if this was just one night, one card. But overall, a lot to enjoy, a lot to remember, and overall, like I'd give it a B plus.
Sure, I share that same sentiment. Not just echo you, but night 1 didn't start off super hot. Obviously, we were on stream, and the excitement was there. I have a feeling if I just was watching it alone, I would like night 1 even less. But then the main event was an all-timer, and then like you said, night 2, starting out, which we're going to talk about everything, starting out with one of the greatest women's triple threat matches, maybe the greatest women's triple threat match of all time, one of the best WrestleMania openers, period, of all time, in the women's triple threat for the world title. All right, we'll move on then, speaking of matches, to the main event of night 1. We have Seth Rollins defeating CM Punk and Roman Reigns. We all saw it, but just to catch up everyone real quick. Paul Heyman turned on CM Punk first. Well, turn on Roman Reigns first, giving Punk the chair, and then low-blowed Punk, and then low-blowed Roman Reigns, aligning himself with Seth Rollins, helping him pick up the victory. I loved everything about this. It was a perfect main event for night 1. Loved it.
It was absolutely unreal. And then the thing too,
the reactions. I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but I was at Easter. I shot down for Easter dinner the other night before coming back for the stream. And I show my parents the reactions of us, like, on that you clipped off. Thank you for doing that. If anyone saw those clips, Jimmy clipped those off. And us just like exploding on the couch. My parents were cracking up. But yeah, it was electric.
Oh yeah, definitely. Something like a time machine to look back. Basically, on that couch was 12-year-old Jimmy and 12-year-old John. Just going nuts.
100%.
And that's the thing too. Some people would say the criticisms of the main event was the turns, because there was kind of 2 turns, was predictable. And so some people, I definitely think some people had that outcome happening. Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman turning on Punk and Roman. I think we pretty much did too. For the
most part.
But sometimes when you have such compelling characters, all 4 of these men are megastars, and you watch a story unfold, and sometimes predictable can be good in this sense, because I for some part, I did see it coming, and you go back to the live reaction. It still was shocking. It still was exciting. That's
been a sentiment on this podcast forever, is predictable doesn't mean bad.
Yes.
Just because it's predictable, it doesn't mean it's bad. Oftentimes, more often than not, if you go back to things that were quote unquote predictable, they're good. Again, I wasn't watching in the 90s or the late 90s, whatever, when Stone Cold aligned himself with Vince, or when Stone Cold took out Vince, or when The Rock aligned himself with whatever. I'll bet you that was predictable. Yeah. I'll bet you if you were watching that live, it was like, oh, I saw that coming. Because also sometimes you're like, oh, here's the most shocking thing. Here's the most entertaining thing they can do. Here's the best thing they can do. Oftentimes the best thing is going to be predictable. But again, predictable doesn't mean bad. So just, in terms of if people are like, well, it's too predictable. shut up, watch the show. That's my sentiment.
And just the fact that, a moment that happened in 2013, the Shield breakup, still
so good.
rears its head constantly in the main storylines of today's WWE is just something that is, always will give me chills.
Mm-hmm. Like Roman creeping up on him with the chair. The shot was perfect. And it was like, wow, Roman, like Seth's hit him in the back of the chair, 3 or 4 times or whatever. He got hit in the back by Sammy with the chair.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, finally. Now Roman, which is crazy to now be like, finally the tribal chief has the upper hand, but finally Roman is the one hitting him with the chair, and then Paul just to come and spoil it with the low blow. Unreal. It's one of the best, genuinely I think one of the best turns, double turns, I guess you can even say, in WWE history. I fucking loved it. I lost my mind. Do you have anything more before we move on to
one of my favorite parts of that match, man, was the power bomb spot. Both tables going down. Dude. First, they're teasing like Shield link up. Let's put this old back.
And like finally, it took a while for Roman to get on his side. Yeah. Roman was like, you know what? Yeah. And then fuck
boom,
you. Yep.
Power bomb to Punker through the table.
Yep.
Power bomb to Seth through the table. Roman really shined in this match. All 3 men did. Mm-hmm. It was something else. Definitely I'll tell you, this was my favorite match of the weekend.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's my number 2.
Okay.
Not including if we're including Stand Deliver stuff.
True.
It's like 3.
Okay.
But I think, to your credit, I think the moment, and I'm not taking anything away from anything, the moment with the Paul Heyman stuff, I think it was even overshadowing at this point the in-ring. It was a great match.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the Paul Heyman stuff, you'd still come away with that being like, that was a stellar main event, a stellar wrestling match. Then obviously the shenanigans that happened with Paul kind of elevate it to a different level.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this match isn't being talked about enough for its in-ring because, rightfully so due to what happened. But yeah, this was great. I had a lot of fun. I think all 3 men looked unreal. We got maybe the best spear into a pedigree from Seth.
Yeah.
We get it every time, but this one looked good. We got some stomps. I thought this was great. And this led into on Raw. We got the kind of official. We saw Punk and Paul Heyman standing tall together. Seth in the yellow suit, Paul Heyman with the matching yellow tie and everything. Perfect. CM Punk comes out immediately, still taping his hand up to fight off Seth. Seth ends up stomping him out. Roman, they throw up the graphics. They throw up the executive producer, whatever. Roman Reigns comes out. Didn't expect Roman at all. And then, as Roman Reigns beat down Seth, as Roman Reigns hit a Superman punch to Paul Heyman's getting ready to spear him, someone in a hoodie runs in. Braun fucking Breaker runs in. The dogs were barking in Las Vegas. Looks at Seth. Is he taking out everyone? Spears Punk. Stands tall with Seth Rollins. I think even he went back out the ring. Seth kind of sicked him on Roman. At the end of Raw, we had what is seemingly a new faction of Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and the new Paul Heyman guy in Braun Breaker. I can't even put into words how much I love this. It's awesome. I love this so much.
I lost my damn mind.
I think I texted you. You must be going crazy.
I lost my damn mind. I quickly got worried because of the hoodie. I really thought, like, is that Solo? But no,
I would have been pissed.
It was my current favorite wrestler, Braun Breaker.
Perfect.
I kind of was like, I wonder now after losing the IC title, where do you go? Where does he go from here? I would love to throw him into the world title feud. No, this is even better for him than a world title feud
because he's still in the main event scene with this for sure.
And this is I'm all in on this faction alliance, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be some good shit when people are they see this, and I saw immediately Dangerous Alliance, Evolution, Four Horsemen, like who's like people fantasy booking who's going to be some more members in there. Sure, it's going to be awesome, or even two. I mean, literally two, like the Shield. I mean, you got Seth Rollins, you got
Sure.
the Beast, Braun Breaker. Of course, again, I'm jumping the gun, assuming they're going to add more people, but
Could just be the 3.
It could just be the
Who
3.
knows?
I saw something that was like, this is literally Seth Rollins is the Joker, Paul Heyman's Penguin, and then Braun Breaker's Bane. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, these guys are larger than life, superhuman heroes, whatever you want to call them.
Even Braun being compared to, obviously Brock Lesnar was the young Paul Heyman guy. Being compared to in terms of the Shield stuff, Evolution 2.0, Braun Breaker, the Batista, Triple H, or Seth Rollins, now the Triple H, which makes even more sense because he's come down from Triple H. He was under Triple H's authority for a while, and now Seth Rollins is the Triple H. Paul Heyman being...
Who could be the Ric Flair? The John Cena 17. Never seen 17.
So crazy.
Sorry
Never seen 17. No, that'd be nuts. I don't know. So yeah, I'd love to get into some speculation. You kind of listed a lot of the names, like the Dangerous Alliance. I think is a fan favorite for sure. And then even like Evolution 2.0. I saw some like Next Era, or like just something like that. Pure Fusion Collective would be cool. But I think more enticingly is, let's say they add a 4th member. Who we got for a 4th member? You allude to Cena. Is there anyone else? I think the popular stance was like someone young, a new young guy.
Yeah, or I saw I saw some like we need a tag team with these guys. That'd
be fun.
You can have the world champion potential Seth Rollins, and then you have maybe Braun go back for the IC, and then a pretty strong tag team. I mean, I'm kind of recency biased when I saw that prompt, and I was like, okay, I kind of want my newly crowned women's tag team champions, Liv Morgan and Raquel, because I love them, and Raquel last night really shined in that match. But John. I mean, again, like, who are they going to be? Kind of because we're at the point in wrestling history now, and Triple H has the pen where it's oftentimes kind of reboots and or
callbacks, nostalgia,
homages, stuff like that. So if they are going for like this is the new evolution, who would be like you said, Seth, Triple H, Braun, Batista, and then who would be the Ric Flair, who would be the Randy Orton?
Right.
I mean, Ric Flair's record just got broken, so I mean you do have the old guy John Cena, and then maybe who's the next Randy Orton? I don't know. That's the thing. Like, or of course, it could just be their original whatever, and we can get a group of 4 men and Paul Heyman, a group of them 2 and 2 women and Paul Heyman, or just the star power alone of Braun, Seth, and Heyman's enough for me. I'm just so beyond excited at the prospect of these men working together.
I think I saw some discussion online whether it's like adding a woman would be so sick. However, I think I agree with, I forget who I saw on Twitter, where they would prefer a woman not to be in this because WWE doesn't have the best track record as of recent when you have a group or a faction and you have just one woman in it. It kind of takes them out of the women's division, and there's not a lot of room to have like feuds because there's 3 men feuding with men, and then there's not much to do, or it's tough to get a storyline in the women's division when there's only 1 woman in the faction. Ooh. So with that said, I would love a woman representation in it. I think it would be badass. However, I do kind of am on the same page of like, I'd be skeptical for them to like, let's say they threw a Liv Morgan in there. Sure. I'd be a little nervous that she'd be the forgotten member. Not that I think she would, because she's Liv Morgan. She's unbelievable. But like that, the history being what it is,
And then you're gonna have to think too. You want them to match the name to be a Paul Heyman woman. And like
that is pretty. I kind of like that. Paul Heyman woman.
Paul Heyman woman.
I kind of like that.
I'm like, who could
Paul Heyman gal?
Like that too. Who could fit that mold? And I'm like, I wish Ronda could be still there. Maybe Shayna Baszler. But then who I thought of just now, and after seeing their blood sport match, Natty Neidhart.
Be kind of sick.
That'd be kind of sick.
It'd be kind of
twist up her hair, and she keeps this badass persona of being like a kind of a shoot badass.
You also get that veteran sort of thing.
Sure,
yeah. Which honestly, like, if they do that, I like Natty in that position because it's not like an inexperienced person that might get lost in the shuffle. They can use Natty because Natty is going to be more experienced than both Seth and Braun, for sure.
Yeah.
So then you can have like Natty kind of the overseer veteran of both of them. You know what I mean?
And like if there was to be a woman or just maybe a tag team, I mean, I wish I could just pluck FTR from AEW and put them in here. But what's this group's mission statement? Will it be to be to collect all the titles? Will it be domination, or could it be an underlining part of the Rock and John Cena's takeover of wrestling, and maybe we get like an NWO-esque of faction where it's a bunch of big stars all taking over the company in some aspect. But
the name that jumps out to me, because I want a new young guy. Sure, you already have Braun Breaker as like a new young guy, but the name that jumped out to me immediately was Ethan Page.
Oh wow!
I think he'd be a really good fit for this. Honestly, Ethan Page or Ricky Starks, maybe just coming off the Stand and Deliver.
But they just feuded, so that wouldn't make too much sense, I guess. But yeah, that'd be cool as hell, man.
Ethan Page for some reason fits that like evolution look for me.
Okay.
So that would be my vote for sure. But WrestleMania 41 just ended. The trick, I think there was something online where Triple H was like, "Oh, that was a good off season." They were on off season for all of like 5 hours collectively.
That's why it's the greatest sport on earth, my friend.
We had the season finale, right? The season finale was on Sunday, and I'm not saying anything new, but we needed what's this next season? What's this next year to Mania looking like? And we got so many good things coming into this Raw that we're going to keep on, expanding on, talking about as we go through Mania as well. But yeah, this fired me up. I really, really love this. But before the match on Saturday, I was like, I thought it was going to happen. I just couldn't see Seth as a Paul Heyman guy.
Okay.
Now I can't see him not as a Paul Heyman guy. I'm like, oh yeah, sold. Oh yeah, word. I'm with it. Cool. Which maybe honestly gives to the credit of, not to be annoying about it, but gives to the credit of like, hey, maybe just like, watch the TV show and see what happens, as opposed to, 2 weeks before being like, no, this can't work. This can't work. This can't work. All right. What say you move on to my favorite match of both nights? Io Sky retains the Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, establishing herself, undeniably making herself, and if you disagree, you're wrong. I'm telling you this, everyone can have their own opinions, and everyone's opinions is great, except for this one. So if you disagree with this, you're wrong. I'm playing, relax. I can see the comments. I'm just joking. However, Io fucking Sky is the greatest women's wrestler to ever grace the WWE mat, baby. And she proved it the other night to open up Sunday. Io Sky, my GOAT. This rocked. We were already kind of talking about a little bit of it, how good it was, but the chemistry between all three of these women, I think they all have chemistry individually. It was cool to see all three of them having like all that chemistry translate collectively. I loved this. I really did.
A car crash of a match. These women were going up. They didn't stop. It didn't stop. For so happy that Io Sky won this match. She deserved it. She, of course, the storyline was that she was constantly being ignored by these two megastars, and she proved to all of us that she is the best women's champion available right now on the Raw roster.
And you're not gonna forget her. You're not gonna ignore her. She caught at the beginning of the match, they tried shoving her away. She caught that shit.
And that's your GOAT, and you didn't pick her in predictions.
I know.
That was a big win for me.
And boy, do I feel silly, and my upper lip is cold because of it. I'll tell you that.
But you had Bianca, and of course, she was before this undefeated at Mania. But yeah, the match itself was just absolutely extravagant. My second favorite match of the weekend. Something in the water about triple threat matches in Vegas.
This whole weekend, including Stand and Deliver, it was just this was the WrestleMania of the low blows. It was the WrestleMania of the triple threat
and the Rikishi bump. Everyone that got clothesline did a flip.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of that.
I saw a lot of that.
Random, but yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, I really I think again it's got to be up there for one of the greatest openers of all time,
easily.
I don't even have much more. I can just sit here just praising the match, and
that finish. The finish was really cool.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm glad you said that with was it a moonsault to interrupt the pin, right?
Yeah,
Pinning Bianca.
Yeah, she fell on Rhea's legs, breaking up the pin, and then Bianca also got hit from it and got the pin on Bianca. What a moment! What
so good.
Absolutely, a few times some of the spots these women, some of the bumps these women took was. I was pretty worried for them, but
I don't have the greatest memory. Like, yeah, I need to rewatch. I haven't rewatched any of these matches yet. So I kind of wish I rewatched this match. So I wish I had, like, and again, I didn't, like I said, I didn't look back, so I don't have specific, like, this one.
Plus, because the pace was so fast too.
That was my favorite part of it. Is they went 100 miles an hour the entire match. They didn't slow down. Also, Rhea, we'll talk about the entrances. Rhea looked sick with, like, the bone sort of mask thing. Bianca coming out with, like, the dancers and everyone doing like a jump rope or whatever. She looked like a star. Io Sky coming out felt like $1 million. Yeah, everything about this presentation from the match, from the results, or to the result, I should say, was really, really good stuff. And we'll kind of talk about. We'll talk about later on what kind of happened in this women's world title picture a little later on. But yeah, I my favorite match of the weekend. Since we're here, I would go. I think I am putting it above the NXT triple threat, but that's my number 2. And then my number 3 would probably be the men's triple threat, and then number 4, women's ladder match NXT.
Oh, wow.
I think it's my 4.
Well, you're forgetting El Grande Americano for.
Don't worry, we're getting to it. We're getting to it.
I know that must be up there for you.
But yeah, Io Sky, GOAT. We'll circle back to her later. Next, speaking of GOATs, Dominik Mysterio wins the Intercontinental Championship against Finn Balor, Penta, and Braun Breaker. Dom Mysterio did pin Finn Balor. Interesting to note. Last night on Raw, Finn kind of went, it's underwater, blah, blah. I like this match. It didn't hit the same gear as, like, my top 3. I don't know. I'm not saying I was disappointed. And I think that this was even a sentiment in the women's NXT Fatal 4-Way, where the star power, it wasn't like a 12 out of 10. Even it might have been like a 9 out of 10. Maybe my expectations were too high for both Fatal 4-Ways. I still loved this match. I still had a great time. Everyone looked awesome. So happy for Dom. But if I'm being honest, like I said, just not what I expected to be my favorite match of the weekend. Just wasn't. And that's fine.
I think this match could have really benefited to be on night 1. Because if you go back, if you put this Fatal 4 in night 1, it probably would have been the second best match, or maybe the third best match of the night.
Sure.
Compared to being on night 2. Maybe not overshadowed, but also, too, maybe could have gotten another 10 minutes or so. I thought it was pretty short.
It needed a little bit, it needed a little bit more. I think that was definitely part of it. But man, how happy are we for Dirty Dom? I love the whether it was planned or not, who knows? When he like left the ring and whatever, and then he ran back into the ring.
I don't care what they say. That was definitely not planned.
That's what I like to think too.
He's a professional. He felt the moment. He realized, you know what? Goddamn.
And also, like, running by Finn too was mwah.
I think too that's what made me think for sure that it was sort of unscripted moment where because he runs by Finn. And you would think that Finn, like, if it was planned or storyline, like, either one, he shouldn't be there, or he would be trying to, like, hit him or something or whatever, because you just you got pinned by him. But yeah, it was he read the room like an absolute champ and really took in the moment, realized that, you know what, I've been getting the loudest crowd reactions over the last 2 years, most obviously boos, but no, those boos have now turned into absolutely adoring loves. The Dirty Dom chants.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. Stunting like his daddy, not the deadbeat. I'm talking about Eddie Guerrero, man, and like another crazy Braun Breaker spear in this match. Poor Carlito. Yeah, man, this was special. Penta looked good too. Again, four guys that are in many ways sort of the backbone of the Raw men's division right now.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, everyone looked stellar. We're obviously leading maybe now into Dom Finn, which is even cooler now, because I didn't think it was going to be for the title, but I'd love that now we're getting the Dom Finn kind of feud with the title involved. Judgment Day has even more cracks. And obviously, Braun Breaker lost his title and then kind of got shuffled into the main roster, graduated a little bit, if you want to say that. And Dom doing his little press tour afterward. He was on, I think it was with Peter Rosenberg. I saw videos of him signing autographs, and him. I think now he's claiming he is currently, or he's going to cement himself as the greatest Mysterio ever. Which
John Cena said that's going to be the case.
Yeah, John was like, I believe it. He said, which honestly, he has I did watch him on the Pat McAfee show. I think it was yesterday morning or whatever. Fully in character and whatever. It was great. Super hyped for Dom, and then that leads into on Raw. We got Dom versus Penta for the IC title, which they wrestled twice so far, and if they just got 15 minutes to go out there and have a banger, it's a match of the year candidate. They just haven't. It's like the second time there's been interruption, whatever. JD McDonough returned, shoved cool. Penta, the weakest shove I've ever seen, and then for some reason that was enough to make them all groggy, and then Dominik Mysterio 619 Frog Splash, defeating Penta, retain. Finn didn't seem to know JD was returning. And JD was kind of like, what? You're not happy? You're not happy for me? So Judgment Day with JD's return, fully back in, this cracks, but we got the full crew back.
Now Judgment Day got some gold now too.
And they got gold. I mean, they got double gold. They got the IC belt. Liv and Raquel, which we'll talk about later, is again the tag team champions again, which is hilarious and doesn't make any sense.
It cracked me up. Carlito kind of backstage kind of turned to Finn's like, we don't have titles, but it kind of feels like we have titles. I thought that was so funny.
Which was just twisting the knife a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have titles, but it awfully feels like we have titles. Isn't that awesome?
Oh my God.
Everything about this IC title scene, I love. Makes and Dom has a defense under his belt.
Yeah,
That's one.
Yeah, I loved it too. I'm like pretty. His 619 is getting so much better.
It is.
And it's funny too. I like me. A lot of people share this excitement of the Dom IC reign. I even tweeted last night. This was night 2 of Dom's future 666 day plus reign. He's gonna be the longest reign IC champion ever. But here's the thing about that. I love Dom, but how many times will he? Because I also seen a graphic of Dom versus a bunch of people potentially for the IC title. Fantasy matchups.
Yep.
But him to do that, he's gonna have to win. Which all credit to Dom. He's a bad guy. He's kind of a chicken heel. It's like how is he gonna do this? With the Judgment Day help, probably with some lying, cheating, and stealing. I think you should probably ease into that even more so. Mm-hmm. But
I would like some Dom. Sure, we'll still get the lying, cheating, and stealing. We'll still get some shitty stuff. I would like some Dom wins without Judgment Day involvement.
Hell yeah.
Sure, still cheat. Who cares? That's what I think would help a lot.
Definitely.
All right, we'll move on to what is a divisive result on the internet, strictly the internet. Jey Uso defeats Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship. This was a great moment. The match was pretty solid too. Ending controversial. This is maybe another instance where I thought the match was solid. I don't think it wasn't an all-timer of the weekend. But it was a perfect way to open up the whole weekend with a real feel-good moment. Jey Uso winning, crowd going crazy. He looks great with the belt. The divisiveness and the controversialness is Jey Uso did make Gunther tap in what was maybe 3 seconds. I would have liked, I don't know, and the defense, just to get the defense out of the way is sure, it was at the end of the match. He did get hit with finishers. People were calling back to his match with Ilya Dragunov. Where well, you see, he got beat down or whatever. I don't know. I don't love the finish. I'm not even mad about him tapping. Just hold it in for a little bit. Maybe make Gunther bleed. The finish was pretty, or pass out. We were talking about on stream. Pass out would have been a little better. Yeah, and I think, and we were talking about this on stream too, where I think the crowd would have exploded for I would have rather a pin. A 1, 2, 3 would have set the place on fire. Even a pass out with his arm dropping would have. The tap out make it. It's hard to make a tap out look like grandiose, you know.
Especially after Gunther had him in a choke for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Ah, man, the words perfect opener were there right up until the choke for me.
Yep, I agree.
And I'm someone saying going into this match, like I would have been definitely delighted to see Gunther win, and that's not a slight on Jey. Super happy for him. What a moment. But you know, I definitely felt like the writing was on the wall. I predicted Jey Uso to win this match, and accordingly he did. It's just I really wish it was just the ending was differently, because it was a pretty solid match up until, you know, a really good opener up until the choke, and I just don't understand why he did 1 frog splash, 2 frog splash, 3 frog splash. I would have liked 4 on each turnbuckle.
Oh, I would have liked 4.
The 4th one, 1, 2, 3 eruption.
Yeah,
I agree. The choke and the tap came out of nowhere. I feel like people were confused, you know, and that's the thing too, when you're in that big old stadium with 60,000 plus people, you know, it's tough to all get them on the same page and for that big, you know, urethra moment. And I feel like people were just like, whoa, like this match is over. What the heck? Like, okay, yeet. But you know, it was, I was like, damn it, dude. Like you had them, but, and I get it too. There is some kind of the callbacks and
for sure
and whatever. But I feel like too, like, you know, maybe Gunther wasn't thrilled about losing that way, so he did tap quickly. I don't know. It's me totally bullshit speculation, but I don't understand him tapping so quickly. I just like that was jarring to me, but you know, it is what it is, and I am excited for this new Jey Uso title run. We're gonna see what we got, and the stuff on Raw was pretty good too.
Yeah, so over on Raw, we had this. God, I loved this segment. I really, really did, because it made me feel. Oh, it made me feel. Sami Zayn comes out. Seemingly, we think, oh, that's the new the new challenger. Comes out just to congratulate him. Says, I'm proud with him. Sami Uso chants, gives him a big hug. Big Jim comes out. Before Big Jim comes out, they're both on the turnbuckle. Sami gets off, kind of looking at him. I'm getting scared at this point. Big Jim comes out. They're both celebrating. They're both positioning themselves. We might get a double super kick. Oh, are we? Is Jay's in the corner? Are we getting a haluva kick? My blood pressure was through the roof. My heart was beating, which I think like they knew what they were doing. A beautifully crafted anxiety. It's like watching a horror movie. You know, you're just like, don't go in there. Don't go in there. The suspense is the worst part of the horror. And I was freaking out the whole time. Ultimately, nothing ended up happening. Everyone leaves all cheery. And like the camera stayed on them the whole time. The segment was so long, no commentary, just watching them go up, and then okay, that's the end of the segment. Even up until that last minute, it's like, now they're at the top. Is he gonna throw them into the screen or whatever? So like, there's gonna be something there. Whether it's Jimmy, Sami, the both of them, whatever. I think Sami Zayn is a perfect first opponent for Jey, though, in the just as a whole. But yeah, this was an unreal segment. I love this. I felt Jimmy.
Yeah, this was gold. The thing is, though, I'm definitely super happy they didn't turn him, because we already got the Becky turn earlier in the night, and we don't need 2 redheads turning the same night, right? Damn it, D'Lo. But I thought this was even better for them to even tease it. And yeah, so yeah, my anxiety too was skyrocketed when Sami was kind of creeping behind and waiting for Jey to. He definitely was thinking about it, right? Like he definitely, you know, it's like, because he was. God, Sami's so good on the mic. You know, the modern day Mick Foley, just kind of, you know, really setting the tone about, you know, how much Jey deserves it, and how excited the fans are for this title victory, and you know how much of their own history that, you know, there's a reason why Sami wanted to be the first one to look him in the eye and congratulate him.
Been through a lot together.
And yes, and like, yeah, for him creeping behind Jey, and like I'm pretty sure the crowd was like yeeting, but they were like, oh no,
oh, I was losing my mind.
And then Big Jim coming out to one big happy family again. I'm happy there wasn't a turn or anything, because you know it's good to have, you know, some niceness to really be able to enjoy this world title victory.
And also, not everything needs to happen at once.
Exactly.
That's also the thing too.
Exactly.
And I also like this, because I think I was saying on stream that like, we already got like Cena berating us. We got the Becky heel turn. Like the first hour and change of this was so heel heavy and whatever. We needed this like cleansing, feel good sort of like, okay, this is the good guy and he won, whatever. All right. I don't have much to say about this next one, but New Day defeat War Raiders in the Clash of Clans New World Tag Team Championship match. New Day win. Yeah, it makes sense. I like both these teams. New Day needed something, and now they got something. I don't know. We have so much more to talk about. To me, this doesn't feel.
It just my takeaway is that I came to the realization mid match that this is on the card over the TLC match because of Clash of Clans.
Well, you know what? You know when that hit me? When the War Raiders entered dressed as the Clash of Clans characters.
I didn't know that until the second time I watched the match over. I'm like, oh wait, this isn't this War Raider gear. This is Clash of Clans gear. Oh, that's why this is here instead of an awesome TLC match. Well, which we will still get, but
it was a fine match. Yeah. It's none of this is anything to really write home about. I like the results. I like that the New Day have the titles. I think we're going to get some fun tag team matches out of it. I did think we were getting Fraxium last night.
That would have been cool.
Which, fuck it, I guess we'll get into it. New Day last night, we're celebrating Yeehaw Whoop-De-Woo. Alpha Academy come out, which I'll be honest with you, thought they were the Creed brothers. I got the theme songs mixed up, so minus a point for me. Maxine Dupree on the mic has excelled. She was great as a mouthpiece. I thought that was awesome. And then
I thought they were gonna win.
Did they even have a match? The bell did ring.
They're about to have a match, interrupted, but like
the bell did ring.
With how good Maxine was on the stick, getting this match to be set up, and like of course the excitement of Raw after Mania. I'm like,
anything could happen.
Is Tozawa and Otis about to win the tag team titles? But no, we didn't have a match, did we?
I thought we were getting Fraxium. I thought for sure it was Fraxium before Alpha Academy came out, and then folks, I guess none of us looked at our calendars because apparently it was Rusev Day yesterday. Rusev returns looking jacked. Oh, he looked beefy. Wow, holy shit. He's never looked as good in his life. Yeah, holy shit.
Netflix, if you need a star in your pictures, I think this guy would be pretty good in a evil action movie role, perhaps.
Yeah. He came in. Remind me, did the New Day ran out, right?
They ran out.
He just beat down Alpha Academy.
And then you had Alpha Academy for lunch.
Yep, yes he did. Which I would have loved. Like, it stinks. I get it. They shouldn't have gotten any offense. That was the correct decision. However, when it was Otis and Rusev standing toe to toe, I was like, ooh, I like the look of this. Rusev's back. This is great. Exciting. Looks great. Good reception. Rusev Day. Which, like I said, it's 2009 all over again. I don't even know if he's in the company in 2009. It's the 2010s all over again.
Right.
This is great. This is great.
Don't lean into the Rusev Day stuff. I want you to be serious.
Me too.
As a heart attack.
Agree.
I want him to be evil, monster, crushing dreams, and maybe we get some potential matchups with him and Gunther.
I want Braun Breaker.
Oh yeah.
I want Rusev Braun Breaker.
Have him. Maybe even have a backlash match with the Alpha Academy, maybe a handicap match.
Oh, that'd be dope. I like that.
And really, really, showcase how two men have no chance against Rusev. And really maybe establish him as a serious character.
Give me some classic squash matches with jobbers leading up to Backlash too.
Yeah.
I'm fully with you. Let's keep this tone to serious, badass, like angry. We don't know. Well, assumingly, he seems like he's gonna be a heel, but also like who knows? He did just beat down Alpha Academy. Who gives a shit?
And Lana signed a Legend deal.
I believe.
So maybe we got a Lana return.
Yep. Yeah.
Wouldn't hate that.
Lot of big stuff cooking. All right, we'll jump back to Mania. We had Jade Cargill defeating Naomi in what was a very fun match. These two women pulled out some moves. What was the big move where it was like a
the flip power bomb?
The flip power bomb
she caught
thing
Naomi.
She had her on her back, threw her up, turned around, spun around, grabbed her, like the pop up, but already on your shoulders. Ooh. It was unreal. There's a couple other high spots, it was. God, this was great.
They were hooping. My second favorite match of night one. And then, of course, too, we were cracking up about who the hell is this weatherman out of nowhere, middle of
such a good
WrestleMania?
Entrance.
We're like, what the hell? There you go. The storm's coming. Jade looking like not even $1 million. What's a bajillion bucks? Absolute megastar, and then a pretty solid damn match from these two women.
Yep.
And like I remember,
I think a lot of people were sleeping on this.
Yeah, I
was
expecting Jade Berg to be full force, this to be a short match, and damn,
she did hit a jackhammer.
She did do a jackhammer. More of that, please, Jade. And this was a fun match, a pretty lengthy one. I remember I was speculating like let's probably be Jade Berg, probably be a squash match, and damn, I was glad I was wrong because this was a fun. Where I was going with this too, there was and then the two like social media, these two women going back and forth really upped my interest in this match too because
at the big gym thing,
they were getting real personal, real saucy on the old Twitter sphere. This was awesome.
I'm excited now that Bianca lost the title match. She wasn't on Raw. I'm hoping we circle. This was my speculation. If Bianca won, we can do it without the title. Let's rope Bianca back in because Jade doesn't seem too happy with Bianca either for kind of getting her in this mess in general. And then obviously Bianca and Naomi are feuding. So like, let's loop Bianca back in. Still give her a good program. Even though maybe she's taking a step back from the world title picture. Great stuff. I love this. All right. We have a new United States champion in Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight. Fun match. Again, nothing to super right home about. Both these men look great. LA Knight pulled out some really cool athletic moves. Jacob Fatu looked like a monster. Both these men came out looking great. New US champ is unbelievable. This was I like everything about this.
Super solid stuff. So happy for Jacob. He is definitely climbing up the rankings of my favorite wrestler. I'm kind of hesitant to call him out on this. I think he might need to pay some kind of gimmick infringement tag to the boogeyman with this kind of like
it is a little
crazy walk. I'm just joking, but of course I wouldn't say that to Jacob's face. Very scary man. But
I love it though. He looks so so good doing it.
It was awesome.
Like when you can do a dance like that and still look badass and scary. So impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. So impressive.
My favorite moonsault in the biz right now, I think.
Oh, it's great.
And of course, LA Knight, man. I'm still a big LA Knight guy. Totally fine. Good for him for putting over Jacob, and definitely curious to see where he goes from here. But we're definitely going to be. I said this on the stream. I want this title reign to be super long. I want to, when I think of this title and when I think of the U.S. Championship, I want to be like, oh yeah, that's Jacob's title.
Totally with you.
So
they did pull out I believe it was a moonsault reversal into a mid-air BFT, which didn't super, we were watching it didn't super, maybe it was the camera angle, because I saw another camera angle, it looked better. Whatever the camera angle was didn't come off to me in the moment, but then seeing is that a BFT? That was cool. Like I said, these two definitely showed off a little bit. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I have a lack of enthusiasm for it. It was a solid match, but like there was just so much on Mania where like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of even forgot, oh right, they did have a solid match. But the result is great. I love Jacob with the US title. I match your sentiment where I want to see him run with this. Excited to see where we go from here. It's
pretty interesting that Solo, while accompanied him to the ring for a second,
involvement
left him. So like that was kind of interesting of a decision for.
I thought we were getting something.
Yeah. So maybe that we'll get a I'm happy for you, Jacob. Yeah. I'm Solo Sikoa. Oh. Thumbs down, and we get maybe an attack on SmackDown, setting up a
there'll
feud.
Be something. Yeah. All right, we have my goat. Rey Mysterio announced that he was injured and could not compete, and like so genuinely, I was like so bummed and heartbroken. I was so excited to see my 50-year-old goat have another WrestleMania banger.
Totally.
Obviously, health comes first. It's an unfortunate situation. However, the glass half full of it, the bright side of the situation is we did get Rey Fénix having a WrestleMania match. His WrestleMania debut after debuting on WWE TV not 3-4 weeks ago, whatever it was, maybe 5. No, not 5. I don't know, whatever it was. which I said on stream too, there's got to be, I'm curious what statistic there is for how quickly someone's debuted. What's the name you pulled out? Fandango, maybe?
Fandango.
Like, what's the closest someone's debuted, or the shortest amount of time between their debut and a WrestleMania match? This has to be the shortest amount of time. So we got Rey Fenix, or we have El Grande Americano defeating, ultimately, Rey Fenix. I'll let you go first. Go first.
Yeah.
I have my thoughts.
I think we definitely, you look up in the definition, you look up in the dictionary the definition of suitable replacement. I think the picture of Rey Fenix will be there.
Love it.
Definitely
Love it. Yep.
Super disappointed not to see Rey, but you have another Rey Fenix. This was a fun match that is it a 450 senton from El Grande Americano?
Something like, yeah, I think 450 ended up being the actual number, and yeah, him landing on, he basically landed like on his head.
Yeah,
with the 450 senton, but landing on his back, and then like, yeah, it was a backflip senton too. It was crazy.
Probably my favorite move of night one. If
it was shocking
moment, that was insane. A very solid match.
Hey, here's the thing, not to interrupt you, but here's the thing. How much cooler would it be if just Chad fucking Gable did it? Huh? Wouldn't that have been cool?
Hey, it's called heat, brother. All right.
Wouldn't that have been awesome?
El Grande Americano. I think I originally had picked Rey to win this match, Rey Mysterio, that is.
Yep.
And I switched over last second because I'm like, I think this storyline has more legs. I know you hate it. I know you're over it, and maybe rightfully so. I know a lot of people are. But I think a lot of people are getting mad about this. It's like this character, and I think there's some legs where, again, Chad Gable didn't have a match at WrestleMania. El Grande Americano did. There's going to be some kind of inner conflict of El Grande and Chad, and this was a fun, shocking victory because I was like, they just WWE has now purchased AAA, and you would think that they would want to highlight someone that's worked with AAA, Lucha Libre wrestling.
Wouldn't that have been crazy?
And they still did, of course, but he didn't win the match, and El Grande cheated. Another loaded mask spot.
At least it was. That's like the one thing I can say is that at least it was the loaded. This goes back. God, this goes back to me. I hate to sound like I feel like now I'm like a get off my lawn sort of guy. This goes the second that spot happened where it was the loaded mask thing. Rey did the kick and it hurt his leg. That helped get at the pin, right? People were like, oh, well, that would have been the 619 spot. Like, sure, the writing is on the wall. The 619 spot is a leg spot, whatever. But also, shut the fuck up. You don't know. You can't say, I saw people definitively saying, like, that was going to be the 619 spot. What are you in the fucking writer's room? Shut up. Who cares? I don't even care if you're right or wrong. Yeah. Just like, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Oh, I'm right. Oh, I know a thing. I said a thing. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. And then also everyone's like, well, Rey would have lost. How do you...
You don't know that.
How do you know? What are you talking about?
I will argue against that. I don't think Rey would have lost. I think we would have probably gotten El Grande unmasking. I think... when you have a legit injury happen, and it was happening, I think, on SmackDown, so you have an extra day or so to prepare. Everything changed. I'm sure El Grande winning definitely was changed.
The amount of times that we hear true stories come out like, oh, this decision was made an hour before the show.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't know I was winning this match until I was in Gorilla. You're telling me that now for some reason it's like, oh, well, that was the planned thing all along. No way they could have changed whatever. Yeah. And I'm not even saying that because I am retroactively or hypothetically mad that Rey Mysterio would have lost whatever. I'm not even saying that. I'm just annoyed that people just like, I don't know, people try to fucking sound smart.
Yeah, let me channel one of those smart people that are apparently in the writers' room. You better thank your lucky stars Rey Mysterio wasn't in that match, because I think he would have been unmasked by my guy El Grande. So you better. This could be a blessing in disguise for your boy Rey Mysterio.
I did tweet that out where I was like, assuming, because I'm not saying people are wrong necessarily. I'm just annoyed that people are just saying stuff is fact because even like they don't work for the company or know the truth. That's more so what I'm thinking. I'm not disagreeing that might have happened, or whatever, it's 50-50, whatever, but I did tweet out where, let's hypothetically, if Rey was going to be in that spot to do the same spot and eat that same pin to El Grande, a little bit of me is like, well, at least it wasn't Rey Mysterio. Like at least he got it. Maybe he faked the injury so he could get out of that situation.
Boy.
Hey, Phoenix, you're up. If it was Rey Mysterio to take that pin, I already wasn't happy with the result. I would have it wouldn't have been a fun stream to be on. I would have been so mad.
You said it would have been the end of the stream.
Turn it off, end the stream. I don't know. I get the pivot. Where again, I think a lot of people's criticism is, or criticism to people's criticism is that, oh, well, of course El Grande wins. Why would they have Rey Fenix win when he just got added? And again, that goes to the thing. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but that goes to the thing of like, well, they can fucking do whatever they want. They change results 10 minutes before guys go out in Gorilla. So that's a dumb argument. But to that credit, though, it does make sense that El Grande won because of this. Because there's lack of a feel-good moment in Rey winning. It would be pretty anticlimactic for like a Rey Fenix to unmask El Grande because there's not that connection with Dragon Lee as much as a Rey Mysterio. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot here on both sides to me. Also, like you were saying, they did do the AAA thing, which I'll say this. I don't know too much about AAA, so I'm not really going to comment on, I'm seeing a lot of... I've been doing a lot of learning this past week about AAA and about things like as what Conan's been doing and not doing with it. Is it a good or a bad thing that WWE got it? I definitely see the side of, them buying up companies and attempting a monopoly is not a good thing. But I'm sure there's also pros with it where they get, this roster. Vikingo was at fucking WrestleMania, which is a crazy timeline. So again, I don't know enough.
He got involved in the match. That was pretty crazy. The Grande of Vikingo, didn't he?
I might have. Did he?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Huh. I don't remember that. I might have been getting a drink or something. I don't remember that. That's crazy. That's even crazier to think about. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about, and I think a lot of people should take this stance. Maybe if you don't know enough about something, you don't have to comment on it all the time.
Do you think we're going to see Conan on TV?
No.
I mean, he has his talk show, so you'd think.
He does have his podcast thing, right?
Well,
or talk show, whatever it is.
When he was a writer of The Simpsons for a bit.
I was like, what the fuck are you? Because Conan does have a podcast.
I was going for a
Conan
O'Brien joke, folks. I'm sorry.
I like that.
That's my guy. He's hilarious.
Who's the GOAT TV late night TV host? GOAT. Who's your favorite? You don't say GOAT. Who's your favorite? Who's your guy?
Oh,
I think I am Conan. I used to watch Kimmel.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon, I'm not a fan of these days. I used to be a fan of Fallon, but I think Conan's my
Maybe
one.
Jimmy Kimmel, just because we share the name, and I was really big with his like music spoofs, and like I remember really enjoying those as a kid. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if you count
it's tough on the spot.
The Norm Macdonald Live when he did that show, but that's kind of a podcast, but not late night. But
GOAT though.
Yeah, for sure. That's a tough one.
But yeah, so I don't know. Going back to El Grande Rey, I don't know. We can move on. I don't want to sound. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going in circles. But
yeah.
So I think I was getting at. I think I went in 3 different directions. But yes, I do understand El Grande then getting the win. I like I said, I at least like that it's a loaded mask thing. I would be curious to see if this was Rey's position, like you said. Like I think we might have been seeing an unmasking. I was pretty certain, regardless, that like El Grande was stopping at Mania. So apparently, I mean, again, who knows what was changed or if this was the result. Regardless, if the plan was to keep El Grande going. But I'm at bare minimum curious to see what's going to happen with El Grande going forward and what's going to happen with the Luchas and Rey Fenix.
Maybe Rey will then go sought out for some help, and maybe who could help possibly then his brother Penta. So maybe we get some Penta and Rey for some American-made matches. I don't know.
God, that would cook. Yeah. That'd be so sick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so many Lucha Bros dream matches too.
Oh yeah.
And also Penta doesn't have an IC belt right now, or the IC belt right now. So they are both coming away this weekend with some L's. The Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
As much as I don't love your brand new star, maybe potential AAA ambassador. Luchador focused Rey Fenix getting a loss, but whatever. All right, that's that. I feel like I honestly had more to say about that, but we have
Gracias.
The next match. Gracias. I think that's a perfect way to move on. Tiffany Stratton retains her WWE Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair, and I believe at this point we can stake our votes, but my vote, Tiffany Stratton, best entrance of the weekend.
Oh, yes, I agree.
With the Barbie boxes and
bar none.
So sick. Match was fine. Nothing, again, not an all-timer of the weekend. I like the decision. They both laid in some punches. Tiffany Stratton, I think someone had a side-by-side of her entering and her leaving.
Oh, yeah.
And the makeup being all perfect, and then her just the makeup everywhere, her looking beat up, the hair all crazy, her potentially chipped tooth, it looked like. I don't know what that was. She looked fucking awesome. It could have been
because she was bleeding from the mouth, which called it. I think it could have been blood on her teeth. Perhaps.
Okay, because she did post something.
Yeah,
right
actually,
afterward.
my teeth are fine, whatever.
But fun match, good decision. This was just a solid middle of the show match for me.
The right woman won for sure. A very very okay match, a little sloppy at times, I would say, but I definitely was curious coming into this match to see, how stiff some of these shots were, but these are two professionals, two great women's wrestlers. One stat not stat, I guess, but just fact that is constantly lost on me is Tiffany's been doing this for 4 years.
It's insane, which is
dude. What?
Yep.
And, she was kind of built in the lab, the WWE lab. And the fact that
Performance Center, baby.
Just in 4 years, you are having this world title match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania.
So sick.
Tiffy is...
That's why she needed to win. Yeah. That's exactly why she needed to win.
It's her time.
Yep, 100%. Yep. Tiffy time. I will say, we are about an hour 20 in.
Oof.
The dedication to keeping that belt on your shoulder it's a heavy belt.
Oh, yeah.
It's a heavy belt, but I appreciate your shoulder's not feeling
Oh, no.
sore.
This feels natural
to me.
It feels right. This feels right.
All right, we have Drew McIntyre defeating Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. It's also, a good time. Not my most memorable match coming out of this weekend. What do you got to say about this? You have anything?
I love the Drew selfie. That was huge. That was a fun moment.
Probably the best moment of the match.
Although I will say that distracted me during the live stream because then we got on our phones. We started taking selfies of ourselves.
I think maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of why we're not recollecting it enough because we did start bidding to the stream and on the internet.
Yeah,
so I think that's part of it.
Hype from that. And it was a fun match. It was your street fight, them going back and forth. Damian looked like $1,000. He had the Slayer.
Damian looked great.
The Slayer entrance was very
that
cool.
Was dope. Yep, I love that.
Yeah, definitely a match though. I think I definitely need to go back and watch to really. I
think so too.
Rank if I were to be ranking these matches and stuff like that. But yeah, I think again we're at the case of the right guy won.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Randy Orton comes out there. I want to fight. This is gonna be my 20th WrestleMania, which is a crazy stat. Who's coming out? I think people there was Rusev, Aleister Black, Vikingo. There's so many choices, so many options.
Apparently, it was supposed to be Jeff Hardy.
No,
yeah,
really?
Which again, I'll tell you what though, I'm happy there wasn't. I can't believe that someone that had the biggest MySpace Jeff Hardy fan group club as a 12-year-old. I was actually happy it was Joe Hendry instead.
Yeah,
you don't seem to share the same sentiment.
No. I do. I'm more so just thinking. And they had their match on NXT, and they could still go. I just don't know how much I really want to see which I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of just speaking out loud, but we are getting John Cena versus Randy Orton in 2025, so why not have Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton?
It would have got a huge pop.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I don't think it'd be a barn burner necessarily, but yeah, all right. But no, I love Joe Hendry, though. I love the Joe Hendry one. It was, I would say, I mean, sure, there's, someone's going to speculate it. I think a handful of people in the chat picked it. But I would say overall a shock and a very unexpected surprise. The TNA World Champion coming out with the belt to his, granted, yes, he wasn't the Royal Rumble, but his real debut singles match on WWE TV, excluding NXT, and the main roster is at WrestleMania against Randy Orton. Really crazy. This was awesome. I loved this. A highlight of the weekend, genuinely.
It was, like you said, absolutely shocking. Did not expect to see Joe Hendry. If you told me 15 years ago that the TNA World Champion would be facing Randy Orton at WrestleMania, I would have slapped you in the face and said, "Don't ever disrespect my intelligence like that again, sir." But this was cool, a very cool moment for Joe Hendry. Of course, we were like on the spot doing predictions. We're like, oh, who are we gonna win? Like, we're both like, Randy Orton's gonna win.
Yeah, there's no way the TNA champion's going over.
But it still was a huge moment for Joe Hendry. Like he tweeted right after, he goes, I just wrestled Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
So sick.
Some guy who's wrestled at half the WrestleManias in history, which is crazy to think about. This was a lot of fun. And of course, the highlight was it was Joe doing his classic Joe pose where he turns the camera, RKO.
That which like the timing was perfect. The fact that Joe didn't break eye contact from the camera, that was perfect. And then Orton getting up and then doing the turnaround to the camera. Yeah, and then he hit his pose with it. He put his own sauce on it. I fucking love veteran late stage career Randy Orton. He's so funny. You can tell how much fun he's having. And sure, he's one of, if not the best heels in wrestling, in terms of history. But I love that he's still doing heel shit. He RKO'd Joe Hendry out of nowhere. He's still doing heel shit. He's teasing the punt, but the crowd's not going to boo him. He's late stage veteran Orton, so I'm glad they're kind of keeping him this pseudo baby face, and he's just allowed to have fun.
Yeah, we're at the point now where like, taking an RKO is kind of like taking a Stone Cold Stunner back in the
100%.
day. Anybody can get got, but it's almost to when you do it to a fellow baby face, it's kind of almost a term of endearment almost.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But yeah, this was crazy. And cool ode to his old debut attire with the trunks, which then gives me now hope that he will see the light, no pun intended, and use one time, maybe in St. Louis at Backlash.
Yep. I'd lose my mind.
Burn my light.
I would lose my
Randy
mind.
Keith Orton, guys, clip this, show it to Randy Orton. I'm sure he'll he'll see this and just call me a mark. But please, Randy, use Burn my light one time for your boy. I'd appreciate it.
I'm down for it. All right, we'll move on to excuse me. Logan Paul defeating AJ Styles. This is fine.
It was okay.
His friend that no one knows his name of comes in and gives him the brass knuckles. Karrion Kross came out.
A lot of momentum for him.
Oh, Karrion Kross
this weekend.
We'll talk about that promo in a second. But Karrion Kross comes out, gives the brass knuckles to AJ. He's like, use them. AJ chooses not to, and then he loses, and then Logan Paul wins, and
best finisher in the game still though.
Paul Reiser's fucking sick.
Cool move.
Paul Reiser's fucking rocks.
That's all I really got though.
No, me too. Yeah. I don't like that AJ Styles lost. I don't like that I was just Logan Paul's friend that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah, that was annoying as hell.
Paul Reiser rocks. This was supposed to be like, I don't know. It was fine. It was whatever.
Another kind of like damn it D'Lo moment where AJ was pressed to
sure,
cheat, and kind of what it was, what Cody had to go through too. Which again, like you're doing the same thing twice on the same weekend. I don't know.
However, who came out of all of this looking stellar, like you were alluding to, Karrion Kross, baby. There was a push Karrion sign last night on Raw. I am all in on the Karrion Kross train. And I know people are going to call me a hypocrite because I have been not a fan and not into Karrion Kross for basically his entire main roster debut. And it's because it's the TV show I'm watching. He hasn't been doing anything on the TV show I'm watching. However, I love it when a guy takes matters into his own hands. That promo that seemed a little bit, half work, maybe half shoot, maybe a little bit more lean to shoot. Who knows? I like to think it was pretty off rip. Scarlett, I love the moment. I think it was like 2 minutes in where Scarlett kind of puts her hand on him when he's really starting to go off, and like that was the moment where it's like, oh, this is real. This is a guy who is fed up with the position he's had. He knows he can be great. He had that match, the first match in like a year, like a week or two ago, where my sentiment from that was like, oh, he could be a top heel. For some reason, they're just not letting him. He's great. And again, I'm being shown that he's being great, so now I'm on the train. Call me a bandwagon fan. I love being a bandwagon fan. Being a bandwagon fan is fucking fun. Yeah, this, yep. What do you think about the Karrion promo?
I'm not hopping on the train just yet.
Okay.
But I will say this.
There'll be room for you.
I'm not, after that promo, I'm not sure if this guy is going to be Future Endeavor tomorrow or or put 2 titles on him. Because, the stuff that he said and, just but I appreciate, again, it's kind of like a sink or swim moment where a lot of these guys, not everyone can be the world champion. Not everyone can be, front and center all the time, and you gotta earn it. There's certain ways to earn it, and I think Karrion is now kind of reaching a boiling point in his career where he was featured endeavored before, and this is his second run, and he knows that it's either there's only so much time we have on this earth, so you gotta do it now or forever hold your peace, kind of.
Do you remember some of the big beats from it? I'm kind of forgetting. I might almost just want to play it back. But do you remember?
I think we should play it back because I only see it. I've seen it once.
Me too. I only watched it once. I remember loving it. I just can't recall it in the moment. But it's only like 2 minutes long too. I think.
Yeah,
let's
freaking do it, dude.
All right, 3 minutes, folks. Here we go. Okay. Put a mic to it.
Logan Paul just won it. Let's talk about, Sam. Let's talk about what Logan Paul represents. The shortcut. Feels so good to be here. Feels so good to be in the business. Thinking about all of the funerals that I wasn't able to attend for the last 11 years in this business. All of the holidays I missed. I could have just started a YouTube channel. Could have just jumped in there with AJ Styles. Feels really good, right? It's awesome. It's really good.
Do you guys know we have 25 years combined experience, and what are we doing on Mania?
Well, they know because they're normal human beings, and they actually love professional wrestling. But apparently that doesn't mean shit anymore. That doesn't mean shit. All I asked Alan to do was for once to not think about just himself. Think about everybody in the back and think about the professional wrestling fans. That's all I wanted him to do. Sometimes to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing. But he's a narcissist, and he had to do it his way. Hey, Alan, how many more WrestleManias do you have in your system? Probably, I don't know, one. Maybe it's just the last one, and you just pissed that away. For what? For what? For your way? Thanks a lot, bud. I really appreciate it. You want to know what the best advice I ever got? It was from Bill Goldberg. 2021, back when I was in the Twilight Zone, you know what I mean? I'm wrestling for gasoline. It was awesome. Let me tell you all about it. Bill goes, hey, Cross, you know what? You remind me a lot of me. I go, I think we have different styles, Bill, but I really appreciate that. Do you have any advice for me? He goes, you know what? You just got to be a good soldier. A good soldier is what he said. So I decided to be a good soldier. You know what happened? They released me. And then I come back. You know what being a good soldier gets you, everybody here? Just so, in case you're wondering, you want the back scoop here? Being a good soldier gets your times cut. Being a good soldier means that people come up to you and say, hey, you got any great ideas? Yeah, here it is from Scarlett. No. That's a little too great. We're looking just for good ideas. That's for those guys over there. That's what being a good soldier is, okay? Being a good soldier is coming to your hometown where you cut your teeth, we got started, and not being on the card. It's all about viral moments now. That's what it's all about. Viral moments. Well, guy.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's been telling me that I got to become undeniable. And as soon as it happens, they ignore it and they shut it down. I never asked to wrestle Randy. I never asked. That happened organically, and you ignored it for a viral moment. And good on Joe. Nothing against him. But you ignored it. And the crowd told you exactly how they felt about me on SmackDown when I was eliminated. And you ignored it. Become undeniable. My ass. My ass. You want a viral moment? On behalf of all of the true fans of professional wrestling, guy with the suit and tie in the truck, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Cross. No. Fuck it.
And you know how we run this anti-bullying campaign?
Unreal. I'm glad we rewatched that. I forgot how good. I knew it was good. I forgot how unreal it was. Yeah, I love me some line blurring. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's fake, and I love it. Wow. I mean, I even forgot about like calling out like that should have been my spot with Randy. Why not? I've proven I'm good in the ring. Be undeniable my ass. It's so like he's done everything right. He followed the rules. He played the game. No pun intended. He did all these things by the book to what's supposed to get him what he wants, and none of it worked out, and he's sick of it. He's sick of it. He's sick and tired of it. Yeah.
Whether it's
good stuff,
whether it's this company or another, he deserves a firm opportunity to showcase what he got, because he definitely has momentum right now, and it's a thing that when you can blur the lines but also get people invested in what you're saying, it's something that you got to capitalize on.
All right, well, we'll move on to Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch at Mania, defeating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Bayley, they pulled an injury angle where reports came out she was actually not injured. Becky and Lyra become the new tag team champs at Mania. Controversial. Becky returned, great, big pop, huge. Don't like that Bayley suffered from this and cut off Mania. I think Bayley absolutely deserved to stay on Mania. I think you could have done Becky at Raw after Mania. And then now, even seeing, we'll just bleed it all into Raw because it's all one thing at this point. There was a rematch between these same two teams. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez pick up the win, get the titles back. Now they're 4-time champs. On record, Lyra and Becky are tag team champs for what was maybe 20 hours. I don't even think a full 24 hours.
No, definitely not.
And then Becky got her ass kicked at the end of the match. And for some reason, then she was mad at Lyra because Lyra didn't kick out after Becky kept getting her ass kicked. Lyra didn't kick out. Becky turned on her, went back in the ring, beat her down like 3 or 4 times. We're getting heel Becky, potentially coming after the IC belt, it looks like. And then Liv and Raquel get the belts back, a little bit of a reset. And Bayley gets the short end of the stick in all this. Weird. Overall, weird. I will say before I kind of ask you how you feel, that my positive takeaway from all of this is I feel like I'm being too harsh. Their tag match at Mania was solid. It was a shocking surprise. I like Becky. Shocking title change. On Raw, that tag match kicked ass.
It was awesome.
It also kicked their Mania match's ass.
Yeah,
it was a great match, and I even love the title. I love a shocking moment. I love a what the fuck moment. I love the why. I am confused. and
a day reign.
Yep. So, how do you feel? Are you as not skeptical is the word? Are you as hard on this as I am? Where are you?
I'm like polar opposite.
Yeah.
I loved all of this.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, of course, I do feel some bad for Bayley missing Mania. For her to be written off a storyline thing, but I think though it's going to turn out that Becky was the one that probably took out Bayley. So future down the road, you have a Bayley versus Becky match, maybe without a title, which I think is always a thing that you should kind of go for with the women's division. Because seemingly they're always with their storylines that are written for them, it's always for a title or whatever. Maybe we get a Bayley Becky blood feud down the road. I thought the title win at Mania was a special moment. Of course, big return for the Becky Lynch.
See, to me, it just seems like that happened because Becky returned.
Yeah.
It didn't feel super earned, which I think is my criticism. And then now also people are speculating.
Well, that's a pattern because you go back to SummerSlam a few years ago where she returned and beat Bianca in like 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that
it lends to the heel stuff.
Yeah,
it does lend to the heel stuff.
So something like you kind of point to and be like, it's always there with the Becky Lynch, and she is kind of a heel, a bad last, if you will.
Bad last.
I thought the Irish last kickers were right there as a tag team name. I'm glad they didn't print the shirts like wear it to Y2AJ or whatever.
It would have been so right. It would have been so funny if they actually sold them for 20 hours.
Yeah. But like you said, this match freaking ruled.
It really did.
The heel turn.
Good stuff.
There's people saying, I think you said it was like forced, and I think some people share the same sentiment with that. But I thought you're not supposed to like a heel turn. It's a heel turn for a reason. And then overall though, over the course of the 2 matches, what I'm left with is Raquel is awesome.
Raquel's great.
I kind of like I've
more and more she's improved.
I personally slept on her. The power bomb, some of the other spots in the match on Raw was like, oh shoot, because the match on Mania was kind of more so, this is about the Becky return, and I think she took like 2 bumps in the match, Becky Hogan, if you will. But I thought this was
that fucking power bomb, that super power from the second rope, whatever. Really, really sick by Raquel, and obviously Lyra is the second half of that. But I don't know how you land that. Like if you're on the second rope, you're going for a power bomb. You don't have your hands to blow. You are just going flat, and you also have your face like in the other person, so you're just like. I don't know how you land that, but Raquel proves more and more to be really impressive.
And to my only criticisms of the segment in the match for my tag team goats, 4-time champions now, was
4-time.
They came out in the entrance. I remember watching this first, and I was like, why are they laughing? Like, why are they kind of smiling and acting like
that's what I was thinking?
But guess what? You know what it was? It was the ring announcer filling in for Alicia Taylor, completely botched like the.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
It was he could get the words out, which I can attest to. Sometimes I get going, I'm like I start stuttering whatever, and I think they were laughing at him, so that's why they weren't like, oh, we're mad, we're heels, we just lost the titles last night, because they were like, okay, you just botched so bad. Yeah. But so that was my only criticism. Other than that, this match was fantastic, and I'm so happy about the surprise. I did not think they were going to lose. Or Becky and Lyle were going to lose.
Same. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like as you know, I said, I don't love a lot of this, but I do like a lot of it. Like I like the Becky return. I like the. I mean, like I said, not to just repeat myself, but I like the surprise. I'm glad that Liv and Raquel ultimately have the titles again. I think the how good quality this match was, I think made up for a lot of like weird kind of stuff that I think was kind of like, well, why'd they do that? Why did they do that? But at minimum, we got a great match, and just an insane. We're stacking up these. People call the World Tag Team match stat patters.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough quiz one day. You know,
I know. Oh, I can't like.
Wait, Lyra and Becky. When did that happen?
When the fuck? They had it for 20 hours. When was that? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
Or even Raquel and Liv now being 4-time tag team champions. Yep. My new Shawn and Diesel. Let's go.
I know. I like that meme. That was a good one. All right, so that's Mania. Before we touch on we have a couple more stuff from Raw, and we'll touch on Stand and Deliver before we end the show. What's your, now we went over it all. You gave it a B+. Did your sentiment stay? Like overall, this Mania.
Let me bring it down to a B-. That feels more right.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels more right. Because again, like the ending really left a sour taste in my mouth. I thought some of the matches could have been better, perhaps. I don't know. I think maybe B+, B-. I'm still, again, I think I deserve what the card deserves is me to rewatch it again. Because even so, when we're doing the stream, we didn't have the volume super loud. The crowd reactions are important. I definitely think to give him a super legit grade, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm Dave Meltzer or anything. I'm gonna give these, my 5 stars are worth a damn in the world, but I definitely think I should go back and watch it. Other than that, though, I had so much fun.
Yeah. I again, what do they call it? Rose tinted glasses. Where, regardless, I had a fucking. But it could have been a terrible Mania. Still would have had a pretty good time. Drinking beers, watching Mania on stream. So again, shout out to everyone who was in there. Everyone was super generous and super, super, super nice. Topped out at a big number, so I was pretty happy about that. If I could give it I'm like right between a B- and a B. So I'm like a B.25. I'm like right in the middle. Which again, I'm curious how this is gonna age. If like in a year we look back and we're like, oh no, actually that I loved that. Travis Scott is now the world champion. That was a great seed planting. I
think it's hard too, because you go 39, 40. Those were probably, in my opinion, A's,
historic. Yeah, 100%.
So it's tough to keep the good times rolling with WrestleMania. So
last couple things on Raw, we have Gunther effectively writing off Pat McAfee from commentary. Gunther's out there. He's pissed he lost the title, which great, perfect. He's talking shit at Cole. He's like, hey, Cole, stop being a critic. Why don't you just call the match? Puts Cole in a chokehold. Pat McAfee stands up for him, lays one into Gunther. Gunther ends up choking out Pat McAfee. And then Pat McAfee gets choked out, super, super red. He's nearly about to puke, getting let up. Pat's such an odd one. It's like afterward he was like half selling, where he was trying to like make himself puke basically, and then he like gave someone a high five going up the ramp. Yeah. So it's like I don't know. He was having fun, you could tell, and I think I don't know. It's also one of his guys, like his entourage back, was going like, "Hey Pat, you all right?" Like, in the back. Effective segment though. It gave Gunther some points back in terms of being a badass, choking out someone. You don't touch the commentary team. So he kind of stepped over that line. Michael Cole was very shooken up, still went back to commentary. GOAT, the
most over babyface in the company. Apparently. Michael Cole chants, him not being deterred by a bully and going back to commentary was really something that was inspirational.
So yeah, good stuff. I think ultimately this was just to, WrestleMania season's over. Pat isn't a all year round commentator.
Yeah. And I personally love Pat. Commentary, though, I'm starting to see some of the criticisms. I don't think this was his finest weekend. I think at some Mania, there were some moments where I was like, all right, Pat. Actually some botches, too, which, I mean, like, again, it's no one's freaking perfect.
Right.
But, and then even I joked last night, I was like, maybe this was a shoot. Like, Triple H is like, Gunther, get this guy off commentary.
Go, you had no idea it was happening.
Yeah, go take care of this for me.
Yeah, so that was that. I'm curious to see where Gunther goes from here. Yeah, I don't know. All right, and then we had
maybe a suspension. Because again, I kind of theorized.
Right, I'm off for a little bit. They should do something, right?
Give him a break. He had the long IC run, and then he just had this world title run. Let it breathe a little bit. Maybe Scrap Daddy will give him a maybe deserved suspension. Because like
it would make sense.
Because Michael Cole really brought it home. It was like, we got to do our jobs. We want to have fun and party on commentary and be critical and have opinions. So maybe we're gonna see some kind of like stand up for journalism and Gunther, you can't be doing what you're doing. So maybe a suspension's in the works.
Last piece of Raw, we're circling all the way back to Io Sky. We got out of nowhere. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. Insane. Io comes out doing a little victory lap. Really, really good promo. She's so over. She's so excited. She's over the moon. No pun intended. Stephanie Vaquer comes out. NXT champion.
That went over my
after
head
this weekend. Thank you. And then Io was like, yeah, let's fight right now. They both, I love it. It was respect. They're both like, Stephanie was like, I see you. She's like, I'm coming for it eventually, but she's like, I'm the NXT champ. I want to introduce myself. I respect you. Io was like, same. And they had a little bit of obviously we're going to get to the interruption, had a little bit of a barn burner on Raw. And here's my thing, not just reiterate what I said on Raw, not to be annoying Io GOAT guy, but to have that match, an all-timer of an opener, and then to have a barn burner the following night on Raw and still take some of those bumps you're taking. That's why I'm saying undeniably the greatest. Even if you don't think she is, you gotta see the work, man. You gotta see it. And then I didn't love the interruption at first, and then I saw who it was and what was happening. Roxanne Perez runs in, takes out the two, followed by Julia and Roxanne teaming up against Stephanie and Io. We get Rhea Ripley running in. Someone called last night in terms of the Braun Breaker stuff, and then also all the NXT women coming up. Someone was like, "This is fucking universe mode in fucking 2K or whatever."
Yep.
Star-studded, a great showing for the NXT women's division and the women's division in WWE in general. I loved the Julia Rhea stare down, was fucking electric. And then to close it out, Rhea with one eye with makeup, the other with a black eye, no makeup, which I thought was fucking badass.
Yeah.
Picks up the title, gives it to Io. A little bit of a tug, like, I'm coming for this still, but also respect.
Loved it.
Just a little bit of a nod and whatever. Great fucking segment. You protect your two world champions, and you're building so much down the line between like a Julia Rhea, Julia Io, Stephanie Io. I was losing my mind. I really, really love this. The women's division in the WWE as a whole is unreal. Unreal. What'd you think?
Future is so bright. I need me some sunglasses, my friend.
Yeah.
We gonna be eating good for a long time with these stars. I love this. WrestleMania Night 3 rocked.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This was absolutely unbelievable. I have to mention too, I love the Adam Pearce tease of coming out and then being like, we will get this match. Because again, too, it's important that these authority figures to be shown. Because Stephanie isn't allowed to just make matches.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So him coming out doing the classic, like, I kind of did sort of thought, this is gonna be we're gonna have to wait till Backlash. Nope, we're getting it right here tonight.
I'd love to see that too tonight. Yep.
Fantastic match. And then of course the post match, all of these stars that we've been hearing about, seeing on NXT, and it's all coming together, man, to make the greatest women's division in wrestling.
Crazy.
Because right now I'd say AEW has some really good ones, but this is Not to be comparing companies or whatever, but it's a bright time. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan for sure. We're back.
My only small critique
Let me hear it.
is, what are we doing with Roxanne? What is going on? She was number 2 in the Rumble. She broke the record for being in the Rumble the longest. She was not only did she enter early, she fucking lasted. Like I said, she lasted that whole long, was second to last in the Rumble, potentially was gonna win the whole damn thing. And then all of a sudden, we're back on NXT. We have a little bit of a feud. Now we're on the pre-show on Stand and Deliver. They did the Roxanne. I guess Roxanne walked out on Cora. They did that on the pre-show, so they're probably still going to do Roxanne. One last Roxanne Cora kind of feud to hopefully then finally send off Roxanne. But Roxanne should have been called up to the main roster. I thought this was her call up. I thought this was her, like, Roxanne's finally here. Her call up. And then we just kind of got the NXT showcase, which is still great. And obviously she's announced for tonight on NXT. Maybe not. I'm not really sure. But I don't know. We're long overdue for a Roxanne call up. As much as I love this segment, that's my one thing is like, what are we doing with Roxanne?
I was happy to see her though, but
Absolutely.
I definitely share. I definitely understand where you're coming from for sure.
All right, let me pause and pee. We are coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah.
I had to pee. Jimmy just informed me. There's actually a couple more things to talk about too before Stand and Deliver. You were saying The Rock was on Pat McAfee this morning. So this is pretty breaking news at the 2 hour mark here. And here's a tweet that just to kind of reiterate what you were saying off mic. The Rock, or you have better grasp on what happened. What happened on the Pat McAfee show?
So I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched the show, the interview or whatever, but we're doing this podcast. We're live, baby. We're doing it live, pal. And my friend sent me this thing. I guess The Rock was on Pat McAfee, and I seen one excerpt that says like The Rock says ticket sales were low for Elimination Chamber, so that's when he came up with the segment for Cody to sell his soul. And like stuff like this, after all this criticism, you not showing up, and you get on like one of the biggest platforms on sports media, and you start doing stuff like saying stuff like this, like kind of exposing the business talk. Like I'm getting so sick of Dwayne Johnson. I'm getting X-Pac heat.
Which isn't that crazy to say?
Which is so annoying.
I hate it
because it's been so much back and forth with him. Him coming back, and then you get the fans kind of turning on him with his segments on TV, thus him creating this final boss character, which then goes over so well, but then he can't stop and not smell his farts for 1 second, and then he goes, oh yeah, like when he talks about this heel persona, people love this heel persona when you're doing all this like extra media stuff, and you're exposing the business in such a way that's like such a turnoff for fans like me. Mm-hmm. It's getting so frustrating to the point where I don't even want to see this guy on my TV. Just be the CEO of TKO and do all this great stuff for media, or whatever. Don't involve yourself anymore with storylines, because you're just ruining everything, Dwayne.
I have from the Pat McAfee show, but posted by Wrestle Features. So some stuff here. The Rock said he watched WrestleMania at home and he knew all the match finishes. Cool.
Shut up.
Great. That's awesome. Let's see. The Rock admits he wanted to turn on Cody. Wait, what?
No, you wanted Cody to turn.
Oh, sorry. I read that totally backwards.
So annoying.
The Rock admits he wanted to turn Cody heel. The Rock says he got a call from Ari Emanuel about a month before Elimination Chamber as ticket sales weren't moving well, and The Rock came up with the story of wanting Cody's soul. So he literally, we're all just kind of seeing this in real time, so not to reiterate what you're saying, but yeah, like, insane. Like, who cares about the ticket sales for one show? And it's like, oh, I'll do, like, just show up then. Don't craft a whole fake storyline. Sure, show up at Elimination Chamber, get this ticket sales. Who cares? But to craft a whole storyline that has WrestleMania implications just to sell 200 more tickets in Toronto or whatever,
And you're gonna show up to this interview and start saying this stuff? Like, why?
Sure. Even if all that's true, it's still reality, whatever. Maybe just don't shut up about it. Yeah, just don't say it. Yeah, bare minimum. The Rock says he could have inserted the final boss, but why get involved when the focus should be John Cena and ruining professional wrestling? Sure. Let's see. Also, like, that's the first time I'm hearing about like tickets being low. I'm pretty hard pressed to believe that tickets were that low.
In Canada, one of the hottest markets in WWE. Are you serious?
Here we go. This is all coming from different Twitter accounts, but I'm looking at Wrestle Features feed. So this is a clip, a 50-second or a 1 minute clip. Dwayne's this is their quote, not mine. Dwayne's pathetic excuse as to why he wasn't there on Sunday. Let's hear it. Unless it's just the same quote. Let's hear it.
Out and I say, hey, here's how I really feel it should go. We can insert final boss in the end of this finish, but then where do we go? There's other commitments that I have, and I want to also be careful that we're not overstepping and leading over our skis too much here. Can get involved in the finish, and I said, but why get involved in that finish when the spotlight should just be on, in my opinion, John 17 heel champion? What does 2025 look like if this man is saying he's going to ruin professional wrestling? That to me is the anchoring storyline. It's not soul right now. Right now it's not. But by the way, we'll go back to it.
Oh, here we go.
Still got it, kid. Still
We'll go back to
favorite.
soul. Look, I can't think the text that I got and from the guys that I got, who are these top guys who are saying, one in particular who I love is my guy. I call him the Superman of the company. He's like, listen, my soul's for sale when it's time. And I said, I love it.
What? Oh man, this is bumming me out, huh?
I want to smack him in his dumb bald head. God damn it, Dwayne. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? Get off.
And then also at the end of that to then say like, well, we could still go back to it, and also he said that Cody would sell his soul. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
So why show up at Bad Blood? Why do the thing at Elimination Chamber if you can't wrap a bow on it at WrestleMania? He could have showed up at WrestleMania, wrapped a bow on it, and then John could have been on this run to start the WWE title.
Absolutely.
Your main thing was you wanted to Cody to be your champion, but then you pivot to John and storyline. So then why wouldn't you make it your mission as your character to personally make sure that John Cena gets the title, and then after that you can go fuck off? But I just do not get it, man. And then now you're on the biggest sports podcast in the world, exposing kayfabe.
Wait, he's not on the Stache Club Wrestling podcast. What do you mean?
You're damn right he's not.
The second biggest.
You're damn right he's not. He's banned. Actually, I don't have that power. And actually, Dwayne, if you do want to come on the show,
you're more than welcome.
But damn it, man. Ugh, I'm getting worked up.
Yeah, that's. I mean, God, we're gonna see clips of that on Twitter for the next 2 weeks.
And brother, we're off the heels of like a Monday Night Raw, which again, shout out to CM Punk at the Hall of Fame telling us not to use hyperbole anymore with the greatest of the worst. But to me, one of the greatest Monday Night Raws I've ever seen. And we're off the tails of that, and then now you're just gonna dump manure down my throat after I got that awful main event finish taste out of my mouth. Come on, Dwayne.
That's crazy.
Bubba, what are you doing?
Speaking of that, how do you feel about did you see the promo for that WWE Unreal show? Did you see that?
Yeah, that's not for me.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's not for me.
Here's the thing. I'm interested in behind the scenes stuff. I think part of the reason why I'm doing any of this is because like the business side of things is interesting. Talking about the writing, who got hired, who got let go, why, the ins and outs of it, of the actual industry and business is interesting. And the argument also is like, well, come on, we all know it's scripted, so this isn't ruin anything. Like kayfabe's been dead, whatever. But like, you're not in the writer's show for there's no to my knowledge, there's no documentary being in the writer's room of Breaking Bad when Breaking Bad was on their third season, not yet getting finished, and like whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe that's a dumb analogy, but it's I don't know. It's too much. And I like watching like we already have reality shows. We already have had Total Divas, The Bella Show, Montez and Ford, or Montez and Bianca, The Miz's stuff. Like there's already so much of peaks and stuff and documentaries, whatever. We don't need it to just be fully 100%. Here is literal footage of us writing the script. I think there was even a clip of like Triple H talking to someone saying like, hey, I want you to go over, or someone in the back being like, oh no, don't worry, he's just selling. Like, do we really need, as interesting as that's, I'm not even saying it's not going to be interesting,
right?
I just don't think we need it. If we can keep any sort of this is a TV show, any sort of mystique, the little that we have still, I'd like to keep it. I don't know.
It's completely different when it's the company itself pulling
That
back the
too,
curtain,
right?
You know
That
what I mean?
too.
And so often,
They're only going to show us pro propaganda stuff that they're going to, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not going to be like, yep.
none of that juicy drama. I mean, you go back to, the secret's been out for a while, brother. I mean, yeah, the thing is the things of like beyond the mat, that wasn't a WWE made thing. You know, it's totally different when you yourself sought out to go for the behind the scenes stuff, and it is interesting,
Sure.
especially the high stakes drama of all of it. But it's different when it's WWE produced. It's being advertised on WWE TV, a show where when I'm watching the show, I want to lose myself in the fact that it's real at certain parts or just in general. It's just it's getting to be. It's getting to be a bit much where they're shooting themselves in the foot, you know. And but the thing is, though, I can see the business sense of it. It's like, so why aren't we going to do this? Because it's going to be.
It'll make money.
It's going to make so much money. It's going to get so many eyeballs. It's going to get people talking. Oh, we can also relate it to actual storylines or whatever. But like, it's at that point, man. I think you're doing too much, and you got to think about how what this business, the bricks of the foundations of this business was made of, and like it's the wrestling.
Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna play. Sorry.
You're fine. Getting worked up here, pal.
No, I don't blame. It's crazy how we start off on such a high, and then this news, and then there's a 3 minute. We're not gonna play it. There's a 3 minute thing that Fightful posted a clip of the Pat McAfee show where The Rock talks about the creative process of turning John Cena heel. So he's gonna, and who also knows what's true. Who knows what credit The Rock is giving himself in terms of like, oh, I was the one that wanted to do this to Cody, or like whatever.
Or even if this actually all is kind of part of the storyline.
It's all a work.
Hey, what is this kind of doing right now? It's kind of ruining wrestling, which is John Cena's mission statement. So I don't know, man.
And him and Dwayne are on the same team.
But it reeks of like Russo WCW, where it's like, I don't know if that's what they're going for. I don't know if that's
it's just actual destruction.
Yeah, like I mean, of course, but they're too big to fail, right? But I'm not, especially on a WCW type level. But like, I don't love it, man. I don't love it. It's not what I love about the business.
Yeah. Let me play a snippet. I'm just curious. I'm just gonna play from a random spot. I'm just curious what this sounds like.
Domination. I said, that's great. I love it. But just give me 2 minutes on the microphone to speak from the heart. And he did that. And things changed immediately that night. So let's let them do what they do. And I called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody. And I said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle in the history of professional wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel back in.
All right. Enough of that. God, he loves himself some Rock. All right, if I can give you some good news, Lil Wayne just announced June 6th, Carter 6.
Oh wow!
So it's just
That's
yeah.
I actually just posted a Lil Wayne song on my story.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
June 6th, we C6, the Carter 6, Captain Carter C6, shoplilwayne.com. Within a very very much an ode to, I would say an ode to the Carter 3 sort of cover.
Isn't it amazing how you start getting worked up about something and then a sweet shot of nostalgia just
I know.
right back into a good mood.
He's already selling the CDs, selling a hoodie.
Wow.
No vinyl. I thought there would have been a vinyl. Oh yeah, there's a vinyl. $30. Carter 6. June 6th. Makes sense. June 6th. 6 month, 6th day. Wild. All right. Well, we are over the 2 hour mark, give or take. I think they're also I did peep it. A minute of the audio might have got fucked up. So if you are coming from the audio being a little fucked up, that's fine. But let me score stand. We went over the Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley are going to, I believe it's happening tonight, are going to face Liv and Raquel. They earned the shot in the Fatal 4-Way. We got Ricky Saints retaining the North American Championship against Ethan Page in a fun match. Ricky Saints looked great. I think this was kind of the match for Ethan Page to move on. It's Ricky Saints' time with the North American Championship. I think he's going to have a great run. Now we're getting to the highlights. Hank and Tank defeat Fraxium to become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. These Hank and Tank guys, I don't know how much you've been on the Hank and Tank train.
Very in the dark.
I love these two. Their whole thing is they've been they've been losing a lot, and then someone in the back, like Pretty Deadly, will give them some tips. They'll incorporate Pretty Deadly stuff into their moves. They very much go on like their whole. I don't know this is their whole gimmick, but like not copycat, more so like we were kids and we're fans of this, so we're gonna emulate moves from wrestlers we like, and then also learn from people who've been doing this longer than us. So let's do a Pretty Deadly move, or let's do a whatever.
I love that. They have a very like Public Enemy type look too.
Yeah, like the whole they were like these like jerseys sort of thing.
Very nice.
So they got the win over Fraxium for the new tag team champions, which is why I was expecting Fraxium to get the call up.
Maybe SmackDown.
Honestly, yeah. I think we'll see Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black's basically been confirmed for SmackDown with his like teases. So SmackDown's gonna be much watch TV. We got Sol Ruka, my pick, winning the North American Championship in a banger of a ladder match. Probably the best women's ladder match, period, and all-timer ladder match, period. Defeating Zarya, Lola Vice, Thea Hale, Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan. This was, again, I think I was saying you got to go back and check this out.
I'll be watching it today for sure.
Yeah, this was, like I said, I think the right now, I'll call it a tie. The NXT triple threat, the men's, and the women's world title triple threat on Mania. I'm gonna tie them for first. I can't pick right now which one I like better. And then my number, and then so in the top three is this ladder match. Sol Ruka hit a soul snatcher from the ladder. She had a double soul snatcher. Very, very deserved. Her and Zarya had a good little face off. I'm kind of skimming over things a lot, but this was a lot of really crazy moves in this. Everyone looked like a star. Thea Hale on her return looked awesome. I think Izzy Dame was an MVP of this. This was awesome. Like as we said earlier, the future of the NXT women's division and NXT in general is very, very bright. We had Dark State defeating the D'Angelo family. The Stacks turn on Tony D'Angelo was really crazy, really fun. They teased the crowbar, low blowed him. Dark State looked pretty good. The 3 of the 4 members that fought. I don't have much to say about Dark State right now. I'm kind of just more so looking forward to, they're all new guys. They're all new faces. So, everyone looked good. I forget the one dude. One of the dudes who seemed to be a leader, something Sugars, he's a highlight. But then I think his name is Osiris, this massive dude. He looked fucking great. We talked a little bit about the NXT women's match with Stephanie Vaquer retaining over Julia, Jordan Grace, and Jada Parker. I forget if I said it on mic or not, but I liked this match. Needed like 7 more minutes for the amount of star power. I was slightly underwhelmed. I'm not giving it a lot of flack, but like maybe my expectations were that much greater. But what have you? I like the retain a lot. That was kind of what I was thinking. And then again, my tied number 1 favorite match of the whole weekend. Obafemi retains against Trick Williams and Javon Evans. I want to rewatch this so bad, so fast. Javon Evans is the future of the company. He is our Jeff Hardy, or he's the next generation's Jeff Hardy. For sure. He's unreal. I think Trick Williams is getting the call up, and then Obafemi is still running shit. But Javon Evans is the next guy up. We are still just purely in the Obafemi era. This was unreal. And yeah, so that was.
I was and still am very excited to watch this match.
It's so good.
It's Charmander, rocked. Charmeleon, Charizard, the 3 evolution Pokemon,
perfect.
All 3 of these guys are just definitely future world champions. I'll say that confidently. All 3 of these guys are future world champions.
Yeah. I don't think that's a crazy take. Trick Williams is going for his number 3, I think, for the NXT title. Didn't get it. Like I said, he's due for his call up. And then Javon is only 20 years old. He's unreal. So that's, kind of just went over Stand and Deliver quick, but as quickly as I went over it, need to highlight it kicked WrestleMania Night 1's ass, except for the main event. Like the main event stands on its own, but as a whole, this Stand and Deliver show was unfucking real. So if you haven't seen it or you missed some stuff, just to everyone out there, go ahead and check it out. It was really, really good. There's good stuff. Sean's putting on a show down there in Florida.
Booker of the Year.
Yeah. All right, folks. I think that's the show. I'm glad we got that Rock stuff in because that was crazy. But yeah, if you want to head over to patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for a bonus wrestling Q&A over there. We're going to chat some random questions, talk about random things, blah, blah, blah. Please go check that out. We have merchandise in the description. We got Fanatics affiliate link if you want to pick up some WWE gear, some really good stuff over there. I made a video on it about some of the merch on my channel. There is a shirt. There's a shirt that I was going to buy, and I went to go buy it yesterday, and it's off the website. So I did send a DM, www.shop.com. We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out, but I'll update everyone on that as it goes along. Folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for a tremendous WrestleMania weekend. This is the official end of the positive Hell Week. We do have your champion, Jimmy, standing tall at the end of all of this, and that will be defended again on May 10th at Backlash. I'm excited to come for that title, Jimmy. I know you're going to be holding on to that with all the strength.
I'm the final stash, baby.
Final stash. Honestly, so true. Thanks to Sophie for participating, giving in her picks and everything. Didn't on paper didn't do great, but the enthusiasm was there, and that sometimes counts for the most. Whatever. All right, I'll stop fucking yapping. I feel like I'm just going on at this point. Thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate it tremendously as always. What a great weekend. Give yourselves a round of applause, folks, for being here and keeping on. If you made it this far, wow. If you made it this far, leave in the comments your favorite late night host. Huh? See, that's you had to watch the whole show to know that.
Yes.
All right, folks, I'll give you one. I shouldn't even be able to do this anymore, but like I said, give me a week and a half. Goodbye, peace. Now that we've seen the stash removal, any other ideas in the chamber for future events, stipulation-wise? So, like, future, I see Cody. I don't see anyone else but Cody getting it back, right?
But my year-long beer, once cold snaps are no longer available, is Allagash. I love a little bit of Allagash. Yeah. Again, I don't get Rock saying that he's done with the storyline. I think,